a wɔsɛ wɔdi saa adwuma wɔ wobɛhwɛ gata ahodoɔ so a ɛwɔ ha ni na gata sini nyinaa ɛmu asi ɛna ɛmu afu ɛna yɛde ɛyɛ sachet water rubber so asagye egu mu ma ayɛ mma sɛ etwo nti sɛ kɔba sɛ nsuo tɔ a na ni nyinaa bu afa so aba abɛfa ɛkwan no akyɛ sɛ adɔbafo ɛfa kwan so ɛkɔ ahohiahia mu paa sɛnea amanfo ɛhwɛ movement tv ɛna anɔpɛ mu ɔmbɛhu ɛyɛ mfoni a meretwa yi ɛkwan no afa nimfa so a wode kɔ kasoa no ne nyinaa ayɛ anwea na mekasa sɛsi a manyɛ dabani baako a ha mepɛ sɛ mene ne twetwe nkɔmmɔ na ɔhaw ne amande a ayɛ ɔho fa mu bra nsuo tɔ ɛwɔ saa kwan yi so mene na atwetwe nkɔmmɔ no ahu nea mpanimfoɔ bɛyɛ ɛde afa ho na daba yi anɔpɛ yi a wɔkɔ ohun sɛ megya hɔ mekasa na ana wɔagya ne bra menua memoate ba ɛyɛ wontumi 95.9 wo na moyɛ adɔbafoɔ sɛ ɛkɔba sɛ nsuo tɔ ne adi anwea ne ba bɛgu ha ɔha bɛn na yɛ amofam
ma yɛka ne yɛkɔ a yɛbɛfrɛ Ghana mpanyinfoɔ sɛ ɔmobama mmɔyɛ abɛyi anwea no afiri kwan mu de ama yɛ
ɛkɔba sɛ nsuo no di bɛgu afa mo a monam ɔta lane no ɛyɛ dɛn na obi gya baatɔp ha motumi gyina na mofa saa nipa no
ɛde ma yɛ nipa no kɔbo ba ani anasika
yo mini kwaku dawuro dabani sabi podiasa wutie nya ɔka ni na sɛ kɔba sɛ nsuo tɔ a na sɛ onipa ko ni gyina ɔta lane na ɔfa ka ɛde akɔ kaso anasɛ central region patam hɔ baabi a wɔntumi ma megya outside lane no ɛmfa ka ɛsɛ anwea na nsuo no pia ɛde abɛgu kwan no ho na kyɛ sɛ wodu hɔ a ahotie papapa die bisa sɛ ɛyɛ Ghana highways for adwuma anaasɛ ɛyɛ road safety commission for adwuma anaasɛ mpo ɛyɛ zoom line for ɛna ɛyɛ ɔmo asɛdeɛ sɛ wɔbɛyɛ saa adwuma yi a yɛsrɛ mpanimfoɔ sɛ wɔnhwɛ na sɛbi mpagya sɛ wɔnyi saa anwea dodoɔ yi a wɔkɔ yi so nyinaa bɛfiri so ankyɛ ni a na daate akɔ akɔfa oyɛ ne de abrɛ ɔman Ghanafoɔ na ofori ata amanneɛbɔ a mede fi kate hills de brɛ wontumi 95.9 FM so manuel
ofori ata anɔpɛ yi yɛbɛda ase abusua nti yɛnnua ofori ata amanneɛbɔ efi ɛyɛ Makat Hills ɛwɔ kasoa ɛkɔ mpɔtam hɔ na onim sɛ saa problem wei deɛ English abotiano amanfrom constituency mpɔtam hɔ deɛ saa anoa na ɛba kwan ni mu no ɛyɛ a big challenge enti ensuo ɛbɛfra ase atoi na the problems p the ebeba pacho oba ye TV ne so a utie radio so a obetumi ase ahwe ewo movement TV and ase on Facebook nso enkoma ye die nyina no eho videos no yetumi ede aguo na onso do adwenkyere enso ede aba anti city authorities yesre botiano English amount from empotem ho no ade bia nyema no sa no ha adwen enti omonhwe na omuntu ho anamo emfa emanti eno eye for movement in the morning yede wakọ achimota yede wakọ eye Makati Hills enti efa bredu ese yehwe na enkoma hodo a ewo ho no yetimi enu edie na yehese na yesia enti send a message ano pay na fa wo experience with the E-levy no efa bra ene eye day 4 ye started implementation of the almighty E-levy na why any transaction ana na wo ye no yete wo sen are you happy about sending a system no asi aye adwuma so far are there challenges you betimi a resolve and send the city enti anopai sa enkomo no na wo de aba ama yetimi adi but before say ye bedi E-levy enkomo no papa bia ye frɛ no John Dramani Mahama oye former assemblyman, former MP, former deputy minister, former minister, the former and the Dawson. Last one he or a former president. And the former vice president. Okay. I say nyame na dum na me san o kan asem no o say o sa ba bie mu a E-levy no obetwam. Ana me bisa say in the capacity as who and o de kasa no. Yenko na yeni ora David Boache eni enkomo okobunu East or the new patriotic party regional secretary mame kwe na me opening aka opening good morning pacho na hunamu ti sen yɛde nyame ase papa se wo nso so wo ho ɛyɛ anɔpɛyi na megye sɛ bono region so bono east constituency election no bibia koyi
dream. They had it so far, so very good. Constance, we are more 11 constituencies. So far, commitments in the process of appointment. Within the period of 14 days, I constitution can be to me. Even by expecting by Sunday, the majority of the constituencies meant to me.
And yeah, Modia Mutirinkwa say court in Sensimbi anyhow. Mutirinkwa. Otimika. Na me ma Mutirinkwa say Modia court Senbi anyhow. Na a former president, no Utimiti no. But Otimika. Okay. Mami hwese yensa ebeka David yiya na yene no entoa enkomo no eso nti David behwe. Okay, mami but what me cafe? Hello. Okay. Akonoba monhwe na monsanfa David Emra na yene no entwetwe enkomo. Enti afei na wodi wafidie no ato ase ya wontumi radio 95.9 ewo enkran and a movement TV and uti David Boache or say Bono East region oma wie all the constituencies oma start aye appointment most of them krano awie omo appointment no mamema kwame ba akwaba na mehese ono so timi eko hefa na say na horses process no etim kwame good morning.
Good morning Gwagu.
Na bibia boko de
obo dia da Roma bibia boko
ere nyankopon ase weekend di eba holiday mu na na mo he
weekend dey I think say na ewa yie pa nyame adom ode akwaba elections ni dey ko so ba bebre na most areas are me fi say ye hwe animu a entime maso no so ye ne de akire hwe say na wotwi a ye bewra mu empanifo ebehwe no matoto niema na nhihye na akoso because it's an important exercise for the party and so Sakoba said baby before ato baby for to ye injunctions ni ade a ewo woso na ye besre ye nuanom se omoma botre emra na party benefo ntimi nhihye niema. I'm looking forward to several constituencies so far no womo ento ye bi ti say Achimdan for instance. Yeah, any must say decision be free neck beba as to the validity of exercise a course so as far as the polling station elections.
Okay. Kwame so kakra na me hwe say nsabeka owura David Boache. Obani Boache me cafe. De Boache me kan. Afi me so me tun kapa. Na na me bi say the former president John Dramani Mahama na no ne lecture oye no unya kwantie bi
mitie bi pa
na net o sen
medasi mamema wahwefo ne watiefo nyina achia no pai me gidi se ohwe kasa pa fa neda dwumadia kanema mpanyini di no so a o se Ghana at a crossroads. Na mitiewi ye no minya reho kese se ye kase bibi wo crossroads a ekese ye drum kwantanan so nti se obi be kasa fa kwantanan a ye gina so na obe kire ye kwan no ne ye papa ye fa so a ebeboa ye 23-page document. I'm a prime sorry the money my making can do upon the meeting no because now me sure of what I heard. In person who send me a meeting, you know, and one want to cut I also na me so it seems say you kind na no. Did I make a show say I reho Ubi a wenye BNT, you know. Me jidi say headlines be a ubetina no pay kono bemo be a you be deceived. But say wa unye biti na unye bikenkan. Because na me bisa me ho say ni oyo ye ne botai pa ne sen. Botai no ne say mra ye be introduce na mana be kasa no. Ne special assistant ma major is Bawa Montari. Edi kind ma overview of the obeye no say. O man no tibia enye. Nti kanuma mpanyini ba bekasa. Na wa kyerɛ ntibia yewo mu sɛ o man sesiye. Na odi nhyehyɛ foforo a sɛ ɔmo na ɛwɔ hɔ anka ɔmbɛyɛ na ɔmo susu sɛ aban a ɛwɔ hɔ ne enyo na yɛmfiri tibia yewo mu no mu. Nti in English no ɔka sɛ he will prefer alternative policies. Ampa okone document numa or 13 different points as alternatives. But person here it decline for the whole statement now make here no. Can man penny in a way send ye debia kaso where communicate and to a crafty with the agra with the civil with the sana mizuno ne kasa we. The idea kind. In some okay no be half truths. But on no percent say sanity. You will be also or not to me manifabi. Now why you fabi free her because on person will be hunu. My typical example. And one thing a Ghana for now can be sure. Mera opese would describe the former president John Dramani Mahama is his inconsistencies. By now, Chimi Nune, Kanima Penini Harvard University, a command lectures on post-COVID economies in the world. Mra Obekonon, where the Kayaka Ghana, a problem in the COVID. But at the Harvard lecture, no cogitum se COVID ama African economies in our say, what they unfair on to. On that platform, Harvard, Osina Nadwa buy a wasted 33 billion Ghana cedis COVID fund at their winning elections. But now no any speech in Ghana high, and the original hair or catch no. Or say COVID is sky buying now or mass sources way free. A 30 billion Ghana cedis. That's a 3 billion short of the Okokan or Harvard no. And only kind now. Two. Obey so disingenuous so can say the 30 billion Ghana cedis no. Enough for the shortfall of 12 billion Ghana cedis revenue. Now, by a target, ya wenya. The one. So, Geneva Bika say, a buying with 33 billion. Now, let's count to the 30 and current. 30 billion. Yenya independent forensic audits. On what the Kayaka say, 12 billion of that 30 billion. To cover the shortfalls. Abai enyano budgeting because of COVID. Truly there was a shortfall. And now Abai Swaka say unexpected expenditure of 13 billion Ghana cedis. Also our muscle. The Mekach also a crafty one intro dima. Into a account when ya. Yenimbi say on a revenue shortfall of 12 billion. And yenya scattered 30 billion. The remaining 18 billion. But don't forget, so within the 18 billion, that the government had the Kayamayan unexpected expenditure of 13 billion. And I know that Finance Minister Dikai Bema pediatric report, no, what did you mean in our buy? Even if Sankayanim Bibi I be now, I'll be talking about 5 billion. But our caucus said 33 billion will have at one, let's say 12 billion shortfall. Well, Beckham Ghana has a 30 billion, but 12 billion, the only say a shortfall. You bet me the Akoshim. But also he refused to acknowledge the unexpected expenditure of 13 billion Ghana cedis just because he wants to be president. Let's lie our way out. That is first part. Fine on to her. 2. Or say government paid debt from 127 billion at the almost 380 billion by end of first quarter 2022, which is times 3 of all debts from Nkrumah. Baby a hand so no mama said that katan and say old drop. First, from 127 to 380 can never be 300% or 3 times. 3 times of 120, do be 480. Fine to her. The American say 127 billion debt and another danko akufuado beto so no can never be said say a debt from Nkrumah. President Kufuor to Ghana to HEPIC. Over 15 billion of Ghana's debt you cancel here. Do you know why they are no free? But debt and Nkrumah started boy be seen no. Obi di beach wa. Wontumi nkasa na nkaye boy. The facts will be the actual wunti. No, actually, say Ghana cut from Nkrumah 127. How did they get to 127 from 9? NDC by power 2009. That Ghana's debt was 9 billion Ghana cedis. More connected 127 as you acknowledge. Now no question, which is more than 800% increment in 8 years. So MPP the 8 years. At a 400% increment, we should be hitting around 560 billion. But Hanwan Chero, because of the cartoon. And there is no way, say debt free 127 could do 3 8. Actually, say the remaining one, what if Rima, Abaya Koboru says cano. Many have said, ne. Odru baby, no acknowledge, say, even if we decide not to borrow again. Nothing to depreciate our debt to go up. Because Ghana debt, yeah, the dollars and they calculate. Brunina didn't cano, we need to see this. This is what the car. Now, $100 a net. Now, 7 cedis 40 pesos. Natural, that's what the car $100. Now, I could do 10 cedis. I want to tell me marking 7 cedis 40 pesos on the original $100. Ndiaka Edrusano because another government has necessarily borrowed this quantum of money, but city depreciation has lifted the debt as part of it. And which, Oboya Basse, economic management team.
But before so, because Obia ono accuse the government and the finance minister of creative accounting say omo hide the figures. Na ono sustain ya wokan all card debt stock na wayi a pick or take energy a year about 17 billion na womo bo say me wayi no ono one can no na city depreciation dia deba eno so one can na eno achi no financial sector cleanup about 23 billion na eno so one more no na a deliberate attempt say obetum future Ghana for any ana
me da say na bi ahono went ye financial sector cleanup or acknowledge say government has spent the 25 billion to do the cleanup, but nanka government bet me use 9 billion there. I didn't know buy person Ghana for bonaba so say was spend the 25 billion instead of 9 billion. But I got sad for him because I got to know, say, in terms of economic issues, we're completely clueless. Because everybody all economic issues and Katano. You could see say he was struggling. He didn't understand it. Virtually, he had to resort to reading. I used to work in a bank. One of these banks are a collapse. One of the banks are a consolidated bank. The John Mahama government bailed us out 2.1 billion Ghana cedis, all 21 trillion of taxpayers' money. Accounts are now managed upon giving us that 2.1 billion. No. Now we manage a university institution be account. Now more 6 million Ghana cedis that accounts. No more fixed deposits of about 12 million Ghana cedis with us. Now they invest, here just 2 million Ghana cedis from their 18 million with us. Bank no frame me say me can negotiate say we can give them the 2 million within 3 months. Because now we were in crisis as a bank. Upon now, by now we released the 2.1 billion amayen. And to me and save we. Now by now release the 600 million Ghana cedis. I'm a capital bank. And next year court. About release it 600, no. Somebody decided to share that place in say out of 600 million, we 28 million say a day check. Mo facilitate loan no mayeno monye. Sadia na president mama say ko pese na na do aban so ye. See bedru ye no ka banks na egu no. Aban ko yi 9 billion Ghana cedis, old 90 trillion. Na yen chema banks no na leaders no fa nyen ye omo pe. Na omo wi a Ghana for asofa because banks na gu. The Nado government boldly decided, say, aside recovering the assets of owners of the banks, let me protect the depositors. Indeed, the shortfall of about 16 billion that your mama is saying, say, I buy the Abu or Pese, yeah, Bonabasono. And yes, say, the stable banks, by Ghana, near one city, the bank, and I buy making sure, say, Engra. Naminia Senka, Mamutie, Namu, Bronga Hafo. In 2016, na muni nipa ewu because of DKM. Na nipa o musika wo DKM, God is love, just a motus no. Woka o muboma na enu 300,000. So dodo ewu na nipa 4.5 million, including businessmen, losing their capitals. Nti unya abaya unim ni aoyo. Na oti o my masia. Obey bold no take a decision. What the best saw my man Negan and Ibian to me because a bank and I may save eguye and a bank and I may save a consolidated na miskakem. That's the difference between MPP and NDC. What's one saying? Two, he is talking about extra capacity charges. And now he's challenging us to say, and yes, 17 billion na ye kayeno. Namum $937 million, which is almost 6 billion. That's one alone. And he is happy. He says, "Nebo, say Juma Bonnie ba kwa me ye ne say me ko sign contract. Say we school, say ni school, say you so, say you so, ye betia." Or no former president, and he says that government just paid $937 million. Because of $937 million, same for the last 20 years because of opening of Bagri Dam. Government needed $936 million near the Ayepolugu Dam to save lives. 8 years of NDC, Moses cannot summon to me and you. Now, boldly. Oh yes, I know. This a man can ya bro. And your mamu bonny as your mama di beja Ghana for. And I think we just as economy entry am brunyile nikwa. Kabi a bagredam ya sebu ayi for trimfo a afibia ye di afisiana. What your padi and say abusuani be wu. This a no timber Ghana for him. No, I can say the money is not $17 billion as they claim, but only $937 million. Oh God. But if Ghana were to be a developed country, I'm telling you, he will not be bold. Because the moment to me, you bold, you can't catch up a man, penny view. But to me, he ain't no what in the swag, you have a muscle. Or I catch us a people, never to Abama. na nyɛ saa ɔma ɔman waste sika wei na wogyina platform so na w'ani agye sɛ extra capacity charges ɛnu dodoɔ no a moka no na mmom ɛyɛ sei sɛ ɛyɛ $1 koraa ka ɛbɛtumi ama akwadaa bi adidi wɔ skul na me nua ɛho sɛm a ɛwɔ mu ɛyɛ the alternatives ɛna meka kyerɛ wo sɛ ama me manya awerɛho wɔ me mu because all this while na we're thinking say NPP money home modern in government Ghana for kohwehn bi a yɛhwɛ NDC na NDC no wohwɛ ne sɛ ɔde bibi papa bi ɛba ɔbɛma yɛ arehyɛmu bi ɔma yɛnya nidasoɔ ne ahotɔsoɔ bi sɛ yɛbɛto aba 2016 na Ghana ni biara nim sɛ dum so yɛafa mu mfie nan kɔ mfie num aban yi hunu ho he but ne wa abontene no se yanyini ni sɛ obeduru obetuma yi afiri hɔ the Ghana ni bi sɔre anopa kɔto aba wɔn kan a na wɔkɔto sɛ dum so befiri hɔ na Ghana nkwada awie sukuu tifie nursefoɔ a na NC ɔman abakɔsɛ muda awie sukuu mfie nan mfie mmiɛnsa mfie mmienu tifie na yɛn postu wɔn na aban na ma ɔmo gyidie sɛ media me beduru a me postu mo bɛnya adwuma ayɔ na nursing training allowance the teacher training allowance na yɛn a sɛbi yɛn ni biefoɔ yɛde yɛ stop gap na yɛwie a yɛtumi atwa yɛn ho akɔ university no watwam wama yɛn abɛyɛ hopeless aban no ma yɛn gyidie sɛ moma me mmra na mɛsan de aba na ahiafoɔ ma a sɛbi hɔ na mofa na mode akɔm anim no maase anya gyidie bio na Ghanafoɔ ma a sɛbi sika nti ɛntumi nya nwoma sua nkɔba nim aban no ma yɛn hope na ukura biara se bisa obiara sɛ na ba yɛ betu yi akufo ado ne ba omia papa be se yenye den yeto abama ba obiara betumi akosko so oba obema ngoma so ya ye free then de na Ghana ni bi ani eti kan ne ya ye wo crisis mu a your mama claim say Ghana say the whole world economy ye de na say pa eti ka obekasa no na yenye hope bi woni mu say obema ye akwankyere obama ya hotoso obama ya didaso bi na se Ghana ni bi trans ya wakase o se wenu munye kra ye to ma wenu abeba bebe yo ni sei ni nua mi bisa what is one thing that President Mama can ne Ghana ni bi nim se menye adwuma me to abama NDC a menye adwuma ye se me sori na sika ni mi botoma NDC a kire kwan a oboba mbema manya skat mi botom. The only statement America said the whole lecture no kokoya ochochoya adibeshembako will repeal the E-levy act. Do we even trust him for that? This same John Mama as running mate led the campaign of one-time premium. On the debate, yayem petemu hanyina for the entire northern sector. President Mos and see her campaign. President Mama no ye her campaign then as running mate. Obetra radio so an akachiro utia utokoto chokwa ukoto kokuba kukra se wonuma health insurance da so this aban no je insurance se afibia ko renew aniti modene tie de munye ni ye bedura ye bema insurance ayokwa omo kono na manko wu free asai omo kono na omo the insurance hospitals and clinics ka over 11 billion nay the same person talk tax communication service tax but my Ghana for who home kura be joto MPP abanse ono de o maye home kura na kasa akeke kasa so na ato 3 pesos ni ejibe disebe ba be talk tax free ho na ba hye ho bo obeduru ye no ne be ko 6 pesos 100% increment e be ko ye mrato so and na ye kasa what say be gina because it is a Ghana problems in ni E-levy because our man wo how na ye pe policies e de free send ye ma Joyce ba wakan no na ye de yi ho free sa how no ma policy no ne di kan ni E-levy nti se mfie mienu na ye nto aba mfie mienu ne bosome nso achi ye nto aba na nyame mpangu se wa ma na say ye how no ye ntimi nye because E-levy ye ntwam 2 apart from no number fe memra ne alternatives a me wu say eti nipa akoma now my wu say the useless opposition ever we have encountered is the one in Ghana. First policy policy alternative as a former president first ne say finance minister anya de ntie nyina di your mama policy alternative no on chere policies abanyo na animu ya yenyi hu free economic crisis no the first alternative is a finance minister yen sacking. Na minim say finance minister dia. Minim say Ghana's canon a pipe. Na finance minister nko agina ho na wote so na watum. Na ha jo mama say dey. The first policy alternative. Ghana for amutie yen. O say abanyo na ma Ghana economy enye all right ni say yenyi finance minister di. 2 Yengu economic management team. Who economic management team? Like I told you, Badina sa. Ghana for me share besenchi ne yema badine. Ye share besenchi ma adine. Anko ye. Finally, ni amoye ne say adine na nya asakwa anti buru nyini mekere ma adine. Na mo peja ye nko hye IMF nsem. At least, no matter how difficult Ghana tie bia ne no, ye da sukura ye economy mu. Ye fa nko hye buru nyini nsem. Emma buru nyini kan kire say ko increase light bill. In the history of this country, your mama what breast so now increase light bills, water bills, 68% have been seen that. Young fair no to. Second alternative, and I make us see economic management team. Na, but maybe we say a honor. Not be more I mean what to wait, you know. The only thing I buy and say, Papa, we hadn't any breba with me, sir. Because we did man penina be the exchange me and sa musumi nsia. Corruption I ever found where you num. To the extent say what president na nya cause ka say there you investigate you. Yami na mkem cabinet minister Martin Amidu. I see a committee headed by William Aboa say you investigate you because Abokro no. O president say the crime and machine. But we had the vice president in Chinsia. Corruption crocram fan. Head of the economic management team has now turned to be a presidential playboy who's a staffer. Now sabi. The mama is already man playing in eye. Yeah, the book to water on about me. You can watch it. I am fine on
on the top for branding tea, you have alternatives, you monitor for the and I make tea, you have on the Senebea, you bet me the senior to us.
Third one was the president in your reshuffle. Now, ministers will be after our Dr. Adukufo to the Ministry of Defense for 7 years. He started to be one of the best defense ministers at Ghana. Let's now vet the ministers in the area. Unya trade ministers, Hanatete Bay, Harina Drusu Bay. Sabi, both and not to a company be a muscle baby. And 9 large companies are a car we are saying. A moon song or Ghana, your car ne. Who trade minister we are very shuffled. And watch now no man penina declare say, Odika your policy to attract car assembling companies nabaha. And they parts, car parts. I know so your home policy. Trade minister Odi Animu Konya, African Continental Free Trade. We African, you know, get the Kasias, Ebesi Ghana no. Wabeye Munak. Dian Sakim. Amwakwata happens to be the minister na Breso Ghana. Aye kwaipa. You may hate him or whatever, or that record. This over to me and my yes more. Why should we reshuffle him? And what makes him think is reshuffle not you are not Breso no or reshuffle you know. But be a co ND and say upa teacher ni juma. In film you need to answer. Education minister no. Sorry reshuffle na ebo anana. Them fine no any 3. Reshuffle HM. Also 1. Government Emma yenye clear workable planner. Yedi be ye free COVID-19 economy minim. But I was thinking, say, you don't suggest now. Because baby, I one nay. What Ghana needs from John Mahama is to open my policy alternative. Say me na me mampanyini na. It can make way ni way. Economy ho na my economy na bigina na nice. But I tell me say me suggest it say until new team na say ni yen kwadwene. Guys say samle wadwene wie na wo dey ba say ye dwene ye no ye we e beboa yen. And na ye in opposition. That is why the vice president now then Rani Meku predict bank 7 say begu because no nimni wadwene fa.
All right.
13. But solution. You see, unya bobo switch the what here for. Na ya fan say emre. Because na me in center. 1 year can be atna say. Yeah, discuss the policy direction as preferred by opposition. They are to send ni aban yo. Now policy direction is any finance minister di. Policy direction is economic management team no yensi sana na yemfa obi from a leader. Just because when you bring about me. Now, young got your bias. Oh, government, no ministers here 88. Now, Ghana regions here 10. And then you have 16 regions, ministers here 88. Doing another government, you're in a larger.
Hey, David, and Kasama, Kohunti, Kremana, 88 in Ukraine, a big double salary. Medasi no pay.
Medasi for video.
Abusia, David Boache, a NPP, Bono. East Regional Secretary na yene no etwetwe enkomom atenteben djumadie ena waso eguso awutie movement in the morning on wontumi radio 95.9 any movement TV ena yede eba ye live on Facebook movement TV na wonsoso wode wadwenkyere no de aba na yagebre akenkan de amamedin ede kwaku dawuru yampanifo no atena se anopai na mema omakwaba na yefrase eni omo atwetwe enkomo enti modi kante kwame ba enka kwame ba National Sports Authority and a member of government communication team kwame mama san ema akwaba biom mema akwaba biom
me that's it
enti yera Paul Ameni a member of the communication team of science aspiring Eastern Regional Chairman for the New Patriotic Party.
Me am a region.
One region. And you remember the origin in Abaha. Chairman. Martin.
Yeah.
Now who number called here?
Oh, yes, one.
Mwakaba soba Wontumi Radio ni Movement TV.
Yeah, Jamoso.
Alright, Backman Akufu. A senior member of the communication team, Eastern Regional Secretary hopeful. Na Obani Akwaba.
Yeah, me march.
Major also.
Na, madam was so. Say my apply me abipia. Madam was any ejuma kesi a moye. Ebe sem. Abo mabaso. Say mon koso.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's papa. Dr. Frank Bano, a economist. Doc, good morning.
Good morning, Anthony.
But on a number called
Yanko pardon, I was way.
Mention who and a pedia, oh, be about an economy, Nina, former president, you know, I can answer my tea. Remember, watch it to you. Yashe, baby, and not to be fear. And I am Nana, say, why at Champon, or ye Emrenimuni, as a private legal practitioner. Nana Martin.
Yeah,
but on a name to say,
Yaminadum, and Mompaibo.
Yet I may say, and I pay so called to 70 bureau. I put it to you. The senior Koji Junction, there are 2 E-levy implementations. So, Table Hessen and also DBC Aquafa. Etiabusia and Pennyfoy, and I pay Yeniomo, Etchin and Common. And say, a fena, or do a fidino at to her say, nature say, and Comudia, Ebe Coso, and na also or the Wadrin Channel, so eba. Na yenso yajibre na fi akenkan edi amana mini kwamba efrasia na yedi enkomo share the constituency elections make us say about 25 enaka omo etimi entoye ebi beto ene ebi beto ochna eko ebi onuma court nsem ni ade ho kwame
kwaku
se wo honso montoye
there be odan montoye I think say na what we mo yehwe ni mo say neck the a major decision beba to validate or otherwise.
But no problem be no.
Well, what I say is a problem. Once a process no there, until say mo be sigina I say all stakeholders involved, any especially directives if national now region for so ensure say ebe adwuma no pepepe ye ebe koso no. I think say hono na wo mo edu. But I think say any major issue is just as a result of the implementation of the directive no. And but I think ABC several places as to say promises be nipa bi make here during the 20 elections no. What who say the then polling station executives there were some promises to ensure some be so if they attain certain percentage our election no so in order to reward their hard work and so on and so forth. But it be so say so nti akwakoye a thin line between promises penifoni biki kan during the elections, and so mutimi ye na bia or down for instance ye kwa animu pa in terms of popular votes for Eastern region nti sa adwuma na mo ye no polling station election ni duswa ebia mo ye sa adwuma no ye ba mamako on post anase bibisa so hono mo na akwakoye twema mentwe kakra so say ye be mo makwa na ye beto as the party constitution also kire nti in fact we are so much in waiting say a decision from NEC ebeba na etimi acclare na fe no elections course so that some be validate and now say otherwise. Apart from that, I think all other results I have to see na kwaku I think say so any me congratulate me and the ameyao you see enkoko yes I think say Andy wabon homodin ye pa me ka say 2014 me call regional youth organizer manager Sopoku ne Fofana ne womo aka no. In fact regional elections are difficult. Mr. Benifo wa ha nyina no could be in fact adwuma bi a building on the processes are constituencies build it on because almost na be tie region no achi ababe yi regional executives one more enya positions no say no adwuma super is a very demanding job enye adwuma a wo ba na wababe gise manya position keke enti no wo mo ka wo mo a enya no so nyina emum na party no yentimi enya a strong united front in order to come over every difficulty bia yebefam to 2024 elections. Nti me congratulate wo ma ewini nyina adwumaden na sisi aka enya position ayaje de ehwahwa ya ho da bi because adwuma ewo ho na se na me kan andi de no it's a clear picture of political patience and perseverance because Andy is one person me ka se call MC vetting ewo Jubilee House na oginamu dindindin ananka wo pe municipal chief executive no for honomo enkoko unfortunately amaso perseverance I think so share. So these are the incidences I did share other people no soon crying said ne nya it doesn't mean say at another time no wunya enti entobwase ebia sabi de wakoton ho enti no another time you may get the best opportunity now they are here so position na we nya yen say party no ana say yen ke kansem yen go gina baabi to party no ho enye say enen we nya it doesn't show political maturity enti one more enya nyina no muni wo mo enya no enkambom na wo mo enya so en show magnanimity maturity to the extent say obi ko election no enya ya nana at the moment wahwe resources ubre ubi bia wanya nti de onya no timi ya mature enough no twon e de oba ebema party adwuma no akoso nti ya de sankra we de ma wo mo a omucha yeye no na wo mo anya so no we wish them better luck next time.
Okay abusanti yenua kwa meba na yatenenka on the New Patriotic Party constituency elections yes ye kika koi afedi ade na take ship omo epe regional position ne national no omo ye hu ba bi omo gina erapo amani nezamu akwa ba bi
meje osomia
na set chairmanship race na ugina mo
100%.
Okay so far Eastern region. I learned about 4 constituencies need to meet to here. As they say Odan, Ebuakwa South, Akuapem North, and name Akwetiamibwa.
Akwetiami nya news bi say emza omaye elections.
Omaye won. Okay. Akatre you. Process ni ko saying, me say once o interest there, o follow here. It is saying,
oh, so far mamenchia wati for na menchia Eastern region titu MPP for omo enya omo current positions from the polling station to constituency level. Mechia ubibia mesan mamo amo. So far so good. Election out of near Kano almost 33 constituencies, no, almost 30 on my. And ya the ITBP Bonnie Bia baby. Eti Yamfan near course Biano. New way winning, new way winning. What we need is unity. See bit me a kind who boom. Na ya Juma strategically. Easting Ebwa Ashanti. And a mayu you win. And Eastern dynamics no. Share senior tiana a manfra crew. A chimful womb, crop of full womb, my before womb. Eti when you will be over to me at Timia Jumading, our polling station level, which is the core of your party now. Nature Akofansim Bibriaba. Enti meaning say asa today. Executive say you munina you beer. Omayo madrin something kambum unity ebeba na omode strategy no should concentrate on mabu titru na yenhwe kwan ebefa so a ombetimi aye adwuma pass and year 2016 election no na yanyi ye huntum zo ya wini awi me sign bi aba since 2020 election no ama yenya elections bebre lessons be brave. See, I near 2 years near Yamshian, economy ne Yanima Bia, name say Ukraine ne COVID-19 Yariano na amay economy ne Yanima Bia, Yanani and Ninja. And no amay lesson, amay to 20 year pa. Until by 2024, dear. Na who say economy nejna and near na akayen aye party for. Yen ayadia tumu say ye koye dwuma break 8 no yen ayadwen say Ghana hiam puntu enti yesi ye dwuma den e make sure say betimi maintain this government in 2024 ni yetimi atoa so aye nwumadi aye di nyina no ya ye ni ye am ye hu say emfaso ge no e ba ama obia I enjoy enya MPP for nko a NDC for kra me no kase ye ka free senior high school I know say no mo enjoy most enjoy most and so no can some pa fan wa purchase adan enye papa ye ka agenda 111 criticize most and so better no most of the agenda 111 necessary constituencies enyumadie mfidi nyuma one district one factory any necessary but be sisi no better mpokra no na NDC strongholds and so ye tiwo sisi ya no criticize those policies enti kwan be na ye be fa so e betimi make sure say San Crofo more criticizing mostly no. Ya timi atene amana be opportunity. Ama mo Crofo mo to abama mo na hu say o adwuma wi eboa na ye MPP aban na de buy. Nti media me kase MPP 2024 no a good time. And the economy na start ye adwuma picking kakra. Nti ye nyina ye nso a ye be ye adwuma as political party no. Ese ye yire ho need to be border with them. Yet to me make sure say Mabuna dia to say 2024 election ye nyina na yes ye. Enti ye go so election so far so good. Me to me nka sem bia fa won say bia obi ye bibia e bone. No. A good election.
Me say party for a co-election. Unim Ghana crowd unim Eastern region. Nipa e win no. Ofo say manya material mo hwehwe to break the 8.
Actually yes, because majority decision carries the vote. And it's a majority say they are banning in my way. I don't think so between your be saying good material because they are going to work with them. And near Bano, Eastern region, I had the effort. And Yansha Kwa be fast way between me maintaining momentum no. near the aya Jumading. And open.
O can say FAD, Echo essay, Udi Anna.
Oh, mean to me, cassette, may medium, because me contest election be from police station. My contest last 4 years, even me picture crying to me, I'm happy person. But my hune say and here change. Osha election by Empire and grow here change. And the change is for many.
All right, Rapo Ameni, a member of the communication team and aspiring Eastern Regional Chairman, Emma NPP, and Yetinka. Wontumi Radio 95.9, any Movement TV, and Wason Egusua Wuti. Rap Backman Ekufu, Obeni Memaka Babim. What dear, menu shia wo okre, Sunday, Moto Abano, then we sell call other places, na process net saying.
Medasi. Na Chia for the mama and through all the media. Processing it there specifically in the Eastern region, no, make I say na a yepa. Na yebeda the regional setup, regional committee, the reps are almost the national by. Per year, one more is say one more the bay a jumano. All of a sudden, no, Emma nipa no confidence in the system.
Okay.
Inti do a winning no many J. I can't come out to him say yes, we've won. Now one swan woman to me is uncanny. I mean, they accepted it in good faith, and that is a good sign for us. Say, overcall election. Na obi be winning. Na neni beji. Obi be lose no so okay so oh. Ade there. Sabi obi entia me yem. Obi anyi bibi entia me. And into no, I accept the results. Na minim ye pass ye ho ye nuanom bebre lucy we know a friend you win you congratulating enra rounds are your ni ade wo bi hia wo nyina there wo besere wo ho kakra agro edi there aha but by and large you see the love and the unity among the aspirants and those who have won or lost it went very well na ne me de wo mu the neutral role young reps are one more buy, one more play, and the critical role so young MPs, the various MPs, MPB walker, no person over far seen who say Yashi Dibiano, na or Tunuka no co. Say, Moye near a bit to me, Mofe say, eh, papa, so that at the end of the day, no, we will put all of them together. Meaning, the Radeba quite a fair, Agroya Edimu, Eastern region crown, say, Obashanena will be a loose. And so now we know they are finding a way, say, or a good material to assign him specific tasks to play in the elections. Now they are maybe boss half one hour to Sana morning no maybe my basupa na mini abo Andy D Andy Abre Andy Abre na say ye nyani pebi sa no mu winia we don't take even inspiration for them alone, but the president another than Kwekufado. What's any political tracking? What he has really gone through before say Obe president. Then if he tell you, say na me call elections. Na ni penny nyina de wom hu bom nom se dabi. Yen fama minua Kofi and I fama Kwesia. You sit back and say that yes, this is the decision of the people. Now more importantly, no, me the romance stressor. Yen nua no ma won sa kan we watch them closely because we look up to them. Say they will be very active from now. And you want to say about elections. Paul and we need back when lose. Interview crowd, your friend, campaign crowd, police station, address you be our contribution. No, that is not what we are seeking. Media is a passionate appeal. Now we need even to see, quote unquote, the losers. No, they be more active in the party. Okay. Trying to push an agenda so that at least 2024 no, we will win the elections. That one there, I'm sorry, I mean, 2024 is going to win. Anything you say, we call election as a way, but more than this is even the time to show your strength. Okay, to show what you can offer the party. I mean, in the right time, no, you will also be rewarded in one way or the other. In the Eastern region, there are bomb abaso. Both the organizers, I'm impressed. Our MPs, our DCs, I mean, the role some of them play. And right there, it didn't come over. Maybe you to know for now yeah polling station ajejina mu so the nkronfo hihim na me say this is not necessary. Try and be fair, okay? Na nipa no hwe a wo hu adwuma pa a waye. Ya bobo abani hwe na afi ohwe me na obu na ni kirem na me say yen kan ye kan hwe no na odafom. So ka je say mum election pa there. Ya asemu. Na me say that asem. I mean, machinations near there I'll try say na
obey ni no amfa. Inti at the end of the day no, any pana if you what theater mo na so no, how will you be able to go to them and say monsan meboa me na omo no nkoye campaign?
That is a big tax. That is a big tax, but then it is a corporate responsibility for all of us to make sure say you be kan ho abum. Whether obi KBB tia wana, but then also no so now I can what obey after elections we will come back. So we try to minimize it, but but in the eastern region there me GDA pass for example me aspiration for regional secretary, meaning the target of some of the constituencies, and I'm telling you say some of our constituencies we should be able to get 80% of popular votes over there.
80%.
I'm telling you we should be able
to say constituency being
or that is part of the price. So I mean, himself we should be able to make
new job in south,
new job in south,
new job in north. Okay,
we should be able to make huge statements in our political system. And yeah, 65, 67 yes, but this time around going to 2024, we need to tell the world, say Eastern region, we have something to offer national elections in Ghana. And it is not we saying say MP obi can me can obi so MP dey we need back okra we win it. Not this is not the vision this time around.
All right.
This is making maximum impact in the national front. Na me GDA pass in kaboma ye hu so far no so dey way it is very possible. And into no ye bounce one wo mutie na wo monto wo mabasa so am
Ora Backman Ekufu, a member of the New Patriotic Party communication team. And then, as far as the regional secretary or Eastern Region Movement TV and the wontumi 95.9 FM. And now, uti sanso our Facebook Movement TV. Obetimi do adwenche so afa ho aba. Amenko Dr. Banoho na menye ononso na adwenche process na akoso no. Omodi omuti e chiro moye technocrats tie ya no mo nsheda anye deep ayit senia moye, but minimum say we follow process in pa with keen interest. Doc,
you me das to send your kind. Let me say we've been monitoring it from afar, unlike to say pennyfo me say odin kan kasa. Let me say omo de wutie won submissions, and let me say they are directly involved in the process. You know, they are more informed than some of us giving the accounts now omo man. Let me say the general impression so far now me say yenyano say relatively things have been very peaceful and smooth, though there are a few hitches here and there. I know the say going into any elections, you know, those things are expected. There are situations will be because TBBA say we say those are some of the things that are expected, especially in the human setting. They say when who sad and crime say it raises serious questions. You know, it is expected. But let me say to say the penny for can the when I say this is an MPP internal election, but then it has serious repercussions on the development of Ghana. You know, you can say one so far where we know ye more congratulations, ye more mutrimkwa. Na I say ni here say no. So ye MPPU, so ye NDCU, so ye CPPU, the end product and they say the ewo muno ubeyi na di na etumi amagana afane ntuma pefra ntino one hour compete woma ayi nyanko to say openiti emi so ope chairman ni nyina ye say ni at the end of the secretary chairman, okay, at the end of the day ni nyina ni ye mu ne say mi bi pe wo mumu no anase nyankopon de aduomo no omo betumi eda na di na omo betumi di mobilize human resource na etumi aboa the development of Ghana. And you know, let me say kakra me de meka fa ho no say the ehia pa ne say enkoye say oh nyese me winning for the sake of fame and I say me winning for the sake of because these are things let me say we've seen it over and over and over again. Obeko amount for better campaign obe winning elections afi o winning we are energy or put into winning elections now afi o winning we are not wachi akwakoda. When it comes to the actual work, so yeah, Jumano, never your output, significant output, and I thought to show some see no. Maybe I make a cry, maybe I say Eastern region or Koya, or we need enough for about crying. Or your chairman, or your secretary, or your organizer, or your treasurer, or your just say, who to shana who, and Nipa Kuo when you did you no more to a banner so oh. Opinion say no be catching in him say na netia say no see e be ye say ne be bobo e ho ano aye no afi say ne pa ko ni nyina hwehwe opinion na onhu no na eno nso e were repercussions into the moment obema individuals at the constituency level alusu trust wo wo do man no it affects oma at the national level no nso no moba say o moba ka bibi papa kire say nipa no na say muni pe kra muyi no ha no mo so ne ya no ono kra ba ye no wa meka no kra ntre ye to aba ma ne hu ni bi ono kra ne neti ha no na wa ye nimu a woten kran ene se ye to aba ma se asem ba ko ne mienu a waka na ebe me ye gidie ni ahotoso se obetumi aye ne ye wo kana na enti ade ba kwa e wo se ye hu ni se at that constituency level no meka ne se it's a miniature of the national governance enti no ne wo ye bia no se wo ye ade papa at the national level se party ni kasie mu no enya bibi papa efi ne wo ye ne mu na enso sa wanya ade papa na koba se wo win elections ni wi na afisa se wo win ni awie ntino me de ho de end here me winning the elections going for elections though it involves a lot of finance me ade we all acknowledge that and we cannot downplay that. It's very critical. But then what is most important here me winning elections na win e de na me de sa to me ni ama me ne ye mobilization was what am I doing in terms of mobilization, grassroots mobilization, in terms of the youth. What significant policies now do I have for the youth at that level? A bit to me are transcending into the national bigger picture and as a policy framework. Yes, start to say and only idea made the mess me constituency from penny for Mohana say or more winning Kwang, irrespective of the party you belong to. Because one kasa at that level who need that clear-cut vision for the youth in particular, because in himself through campaigner, those are the very people you go and mobilize so campaign. Say oh your chairman, or your regional chairman, or your constituency chairman, or your constituency organizer, or your constituency secretary. Yes, one hour down, but a humanity tree now one of Beko villages, Akon 1919 from Akon Cream Crack humanity brina, Wana will fall between the ages of 89 Baby to be a 39, 40 thereabout. And to be clear-cut visions na yempenyi for almost winning elections from now as they are winning elections na ye declare na ya certify say these are the real winners and as we mun na ewini a efin any ho no. What my advice to them is say they should devise policies. They shouldn't even wait for the party itself to come from the national level. Make us say ABC. They themselves should start devising policies and strategies in place. I won't free say to say the opinion can say they want to make a huge statement. You don't just make the statement without planning. And to me, the minimum say opinion for Motiani, they have that plan because when some of them cannot say, Obi can say, Nene see Bibiswa on Candia walk and into the Omo Canadian who some nice Bibisu. Now they make a chain animal Macana say a noun for 4 near Niano almost what canon say. Send me penny for or more canny or more clear cut ambitions or more said they have to make a huge statement. You know what also policies and asset statement almost what almost free say. Various constituencies and regions now my winning elections or more putting in place now because I heard chairman secretary talking about aspiring secretary talking about breaking the 8. You don't just break the 8 by mouth. You break the work by action. And that is very important. It is not just about the macro level alone. It is about the micro because they are young and wasion and then they feed it into the bigger picture. And to me, the mess say me I drink it. Try me one more. Say they should start now planning and executing a policy. Yes. Micro because I want to build micro. They say you can cabo man micro and to me they are quite me. So they should start acting now.
Okay. But I say, I was Dr. Frank Bano, and Yate Ninkano, say, Anopay, Ono Eddie, on Argentine Abba, Minko, a year lawyer, say, Wahway, na Mintino. So, lawyer, o de mi ti wa o de mmara no behwe wani behwe mmara no kakra ba bi wo hono ma court nsem bi obi si ayisi minimum so what bi process no
kami bebree ya kan bibi se openi dware a me so asa
sure
penifo a wa he kuku damfo yi minim nia omo aka a me metumi de ebi aka ho bi eja ade ye elections ikra ye de akọ macro and micro economics abem ebe na mmemu bibia abem so just enti mesremo a de mede rade ase ne se ye bibia asundwe mu se bi wintwi kakra ba ye mpa ni nyina aka agoredi ehu agore aye di hu enti de mesre ne se MPP for ye nka bom na eja ye nko eko a eda yenim intimidate de me work no places are in some abano and some no ye be solve it inti eno no enye problem inti we de yankonko ana why
all right and you na me nyina wo hono mo a E-levy na day 4 na enenso ye hwa ni mu say asemi the Supreme Court anim about injunction I deba legal argument be kasa without going into the merit of the case if ya kaso we de ye mra ya pass inti abandon nyamfumuso bi aso be ka say or implement na ye adwuma e bi so for say once I file injunction for court there there sanka ban no etwen na eti injunction ni wi ansa na we implementation ase legal education any one so submission
nyamene no kranim ni E-levy case na was Supreme Court no men share da endo mu asuko chese men pese mu enti men pese meka bibia sebio me komu deep entiasia for myself but needless to say sebio pempenso bebre no se obi de asem ekoden court na or pre injunction se court etie sa application no na emom wo a ebia wo ye bibia sa asem no efa wo ho a ebia se asem no nipa na ode kɔ no obedi bem no ebia odi bem na aka na ebia we lose right ana bibi sa no se wo no unya sa asem no enti ho a ana wo te se asem sa ekoso a usually no emremu yaka se obema status quo no ayeden I remain the same enti wonye bibi a law beka say you deny the person the fruits of their judgment where the emra ne yeka anyway empenifo a omo implement omo ye omo nyoma no they know best but at the end of the day no I believe say omo so no omo nyanenti ye say obentin bi e de ade no akoden court and then your court to keto then Supreme Court me dear me are very interested to see the outcome of this matter if he says sebio E-levy ne dear e bibia e ka obia to me nka se me dear e affect me sebe e bibia ye de ato ye ho so se ye hye ye ho kenten na ya pesika ana beboa afri ye ho but at the end of the day so no me feel say senka ye ma eden emra ene ntiase den adwuma enti me de modern kits we bi kakra bi ne se ye nya ntie se amofo bi de asem no ekono kese bi anka e twen kakra ne ye because injunction application here was Supreme Court enche emunemu na he ya Supreme Court ebetie
ene no muti
thank you ye benya your friend is saying responsible and if at the end of the day response neba na wo no ase you have jumped the gun that's the word just say what people ho atra the court ebekana and also be ensem bebre enti just from the standpoint of the law no this is how metiasie
but the argument ne say emra Ghana parliament aye enti asi implement emra until say Supreme Court ebeka otherwise intime femra no sonto
by all means emra parliament are passing but the fact that parliament are passing and say emunemu no here and say you implement it obi anka say emra ya passing but the fact of the matter is that emra na ya passing e ne kwan so ana obi de ko obi feel say enye ne kwan so me de ne say nka time emra kakra wo ho anka ye betimi atwentwen so ni ahwe adie n'anim kakra because injunction application ye tie no te say de oka ye tie ni ne ya enti ene ne ochenachi ye nyina ye be hu ye smoothless eden level na ekoba say e bia womo a omo ede kwei atia mra ne ye ne den media no and this is from the standpoint of the law. Oh, I say uni obi wo assassin tokwa bi. So what you say? Na uni pan say ni pano airport injunction. Na immediately speed we see a bro sign. You understand? That is how some appreciate the airbay. And yet the same thing, but analogy no is similar. So nipa no de kono say okodi bemwa. E dia na obeka kire say nipa. O ko se kafra. Enya hwe. Enya mejai. Me pacho. Say politics ni eye into the young person.
What why a transaction be an if it's Sunday?
Mom me no na mobile money no mentai and shada you should sa but na me transaction so am no as a me to credit a good me kasa me phone so and na bibi sa enti most of the time no me banking your friend is saying
transactions
banking transactions
but say and also E-levy no apply.
No, it's when the banking transaction comes onto your mobile wallet. But there's a bank-to-bank transaction there.
A bank-to-bank account.
And also count.
But are you talking about online banking
yes,
transaction?
I do online banking.
But when the transaction involves the same person, if I say loyalty or transfer from lawyer and a bank will be a friend say fidelity as
yes.
Not the or no one account it be or Ghana commercial bank. It is linked with the Ghana card, it doesn't apply.
Okay.
No. But when it is from lawyer to me, since a lawyer so
exactly.
To say they were sharing the to send obey so no transfer a craft from the account. I'm a make then it will apply.
Yes, are coming.
Bank-to-bank transfers, no. But the only time I think CBR the same person,
and it is linked with the Ghana card. Yeah.
Now say a wow bank. Now say different bank. Now for Ghana card.
Me send you a month.
And
you my escape.
If that's a war crown, I will send you a code different account. That's a one use Ghana card
and let's say account
you pay. And
because it is seen as a third party.
I think amount for appreciate the brilliance behind Sir E-levy way.
Yeah.
Now as time goes on, no.
But when you transaction, when you message be
I check him for a no.
One check.
O man papa no.
O man papa. I'm ignorant.
But I hope apart from who any reservation about implementation of the levy and
the only reservation is I thought said ABR rating starting rating maybe feel sena e was stroke kakra sebio ye job 130 ye de bokoboko ye de edi dwan enti bibi sa no ke bia enka yemfa yenko tata yenje tata we binum so say starting rating or percentage no so enye bibia but me feel say won say ade no hwe so we dwene you dwene ade no from two angles. Yes, you want to gather revenue, but at the same time you don't want to discourage electronic transactions here. Said you obia agi atumui enti me no me feel senka e bia rating no and can senka e ko estrododo because mind you telcos no crampo charge and the do enti we so abefo the telcos for no one charge no one dem chere enti nka yetumi start no gently na bia in another year ni atum kakra another year ni atum kakra in kakra anameboa and can also ebeboa if you say yen nyina so you appreciate the need for us to gather revenue na anye bia yankoden obi say oh yesi kasem nko ye enti beboa yen but at the same time so no see a balance enyoma kakra because say no yanhwe ye a one more percentage no omo hwa enhwe no omo be jai your friends saying electronic anamwa Because me TV say you see jump for cry. They say almost starting a physical no cash no. They show mon pass in a job by balancing of so those competing interests no, and I think say we think here kakra.
All right, finally, the former president John Dramani Mahama said oba obi twam. What?
Oh mate.
Now what's in saying?
Oh, Sabio, aban dear, your friend BB continuum. Aban in perpetuity and it's a continuum. Enti aban for be back na ojidi se sa policy ne strategy for governance in shia. Owo to me or kwan so betimi twam. So what you say? Name some say a producing revenue stream bi no. I would hope say Yera Dramani Mahama wadwene nia ode be den ebe replace ebe to me afele any shortfall ebeba as a result of discontinuing the program. But as for say o twemu de say bio ye de frank asha ne sana o ye mampania eni ye say mampani de te say de ye so ye mampani warrior na die obia ne vision and ne strategy anamebo. I hope say papa no so ye penny odi man penny da enti bia our strategy from could be one brilliant strategy be to say na yera episode or explaining the brilliance behind E-levy e ora John Dramani Mahama so e won a strategy brilliant bia E-levy kura hu hia enti be dia me hwe nim say whoever no whatever no ebesi Ghana ye die ebesi ye Ghana ye ename ehia me.
All right.
Thank you.
Me da say abusia enti nana se wa achiampon a private legal practitioner ena yate nenka atenteben ena wutie on wontumi 95.9 ene Movement TV. You're live on Facebook, Movement TV. Na odwa dwenche e de aba. Na me kwa me ho. Na kwa me menna kan E-levy no ho asem. Enti Kwame, former president yini ebeba ho but E-levy no osi oba ubitwum.
Welcome that's
any day 4 of E-levy implementation.
That's right. So na me pese me bie enema bie ne so kakra se ye den kwa ne aba be do baby I do with the E-levy as an act or a law in Ghana now. Sebi ubisa aban e de adwuma na aban ye. Aban adwuma ben na aban ye. Aban is saddled with the responsibility to ensure say development koso. Say ewiase afa na nyina no na nka bre bi wo ho I think say brofo na akasa kura timi eba the support ba mo fa nhye ade we mu munye sei ni ade say sa support ni nyina ema na aban na trase hu say a lot of Ghanaians about tax payment yenye too good at it just say yempe etuo etua efretite enti no aban na trase edin hihye aba say ye mobile transactions ye no ye betimi enya mfaso kakran efi Ghana fo nyina eho na ye de ahye yempuntu duma mu eno na de bedu E-levy no na me can say it's a brilliant way because at the end of the day enipa bebre ye adwuma agisika guo mboto mu a aban nya so mfaso bia but ye ko other jurisdictions taxes ya na wo mudi esiesie wo bukro fefefe ye pese ye kobe na wo bisa ho se na nya bia ho na efe na pese wo kono wankasa na wo ko ho no contribution be na waye wo ho unya bi wo ma wo ho ho kakran na ban etete I don't want to mention countries and I say mebbo aman ahodo but Ghana ni bi anya ya opese otu kwan ko amanoni ba bibi hwe de ekoso wonu bi anya ba bi akono so ba omudi adanse se bibi ekoso pepepepe eyesika na omode ye eyesika sika no so say be enua no form na fifi after 2 weeks and after 3 weeks enipa na wo man ni mu na na no we government no ejiji wo moto won kakra nti ebi na Ghana ha ye na me ka say lawyer your man papa because o see ye no kra no jama na onhu ye yes so you are transacting what we are supposed to do now is to ensure say there is smooth connectivity as far as the with telecommunication environment no is concerned. One who say the city they say Ghana for was say ye ma ye ya dwen ko the service provision no
of, I mean, for instance, the when telecommunication, no, say me free obi na network atiko na minya clear connectivity. These are things that was say ye maya dream ekoso. Say services no ekoso na ye boa with and to work kakra. I think say ne kwaso no, because we must make sure say ye sustaining these businesses in a way ya abine so ebe ensure say development ebe koso on another eye. Enti accept it as a Ghanaian say you know aban adwuma wo ye no won so won to boye den eka ho o ka bi un pese o mo tiremu ye nuanu man disifo no o mo pese o mo tiremu ade kose e na fa he e na kosi he. There are people in this country tax go be san say anye bia wo taxes ahin na wonim se wutua as a Ghanaian onim on say titi onim enti say ye nyina ye ba be ye aware of ourselves say ye nya ya ho e na aban no ye enti won say ekobasa say won say aban bi ebia service provision bi anase yinko year because ya te na won so wote say mesika ka ho nti won say you be protecting everything that belongs to government now. As far as our maintenance culture is concerned, now people are going to be aware more. Say, sikana yeti me na enemi so no, enu ebi ene yedi ye niema. For instance, obi timi in the car ebu we say street light. No adwane ko. So now, say ya ye nyina no ye ti en kakra no. Obi ya sa de ne pe, obe pese obe capture nipa no, obe report no because obe ka say we awaye aban sika. Any idea baby? Two bones, I think, say with this way no process, no, a man for baby aware of themselves. The 4 of the E-levy with deductions in there. Me personally, dear, me share that and calculate here and so because first of all, dear woman, you money said me person me send me my messica. Say na my dream say me person me send it. Say 200 cedis so say 300 cedis so. Dear me dream when say she can be kwa ko do some dream. Diaka wachire bia na kwakwa ye say me nkofa car na me nko risk my life from Accra to Kumasi anase Kumasi to Koforidua anase Achimda na ebia me nso metimi anya brea ye me niema bi na my fast eno na me dwe ho sisia. Every other charge I think say this is how I was a Ghana for nyina so ye dwen. So na minim say enche in a short time no, we will get used to it and ensure police the system. Now this is the magic. Say aban sani aban are so interested in the revenue if E-levy no eba no ye pese yensu ye hu from time to time intermittently say E-levy no anye bia no fa so efi so ba no ebinie ebema Ghana fo nyina de omho ahyem sampa ade e ba ye aba beboa yenye ntom nso say baby bebre a eniama efe no eyesika ene ye de ye enti with this levy now let's hold our leaders accountable. You can leaders are and yet presidents in Kwa at our local levels, the municipal chief executives, the MPs, and so on and so forth. Say E-levy a ye and ye biano, mesumi kromu, ebi achim dan faso ben, and ebi free more a de eba. Ye yana sa, me say deductions are ekosu nyina no ye nyina ebetimi de ani e de akire na ye tim de akọ me de me twa to o mampani dia o se oba
meba ho na ye de eno aka ni full statement no na ye wi enti Kwame Ba na mate nka no Kwame Ba a member of the government spokesperson and a government spokesperson and then a member of the sports council and some sports authority on okay enti onso so betimi aba Samuel Dankwa wo man yensa kan information on our Facebook I will say a signal no so mpenifo be hwe na omatu ho anamo E-levy no bi baby say edien you say bank same network into mobile money no say MTN to MTN na yete na MTN to be a Vodafone na Airtel Tigo so a yete na o send it from mobile money network to o bank account so a and also ubetua and I will send it from bank account to mobile money wallet so ubetua and if bank to bank transfer and so ubetua and the first phase here and penifo chechi mu say system no amunya fan call and synchronize system no enti say you synchronize we are say we use me number me MTN na me use Vodafone na system no be recognize say the same person enti say me send sika from me MTN e dey call me Vodafone so a ente but see a first phase here fiscal bill ko see June ending no system no ain't me hunu because I feel no more integrity system nti o send it from Wawudin from one me Vodafone to me MTN ebe apply na say yet too wrongly so a ebia why a transaction below 100 cedis na yatewa no so obenya refund because and say apply nti eno ye some of the year eba me Mr. Kufun Kasenwi no na ebia me nsaka lines na obetimi hotlines no obetimi so afre na me de no so atudia Mr. Kufu oye finance person E-levy aba na ye de tosunan aye implement nsunsuanso etisen bebo economy ebi aka so be ye disincentive to businesses no ne ade patcho mamitio
ini amedasi na ye beda binance me MPP ni ye but ye beda binance on this bold initiative na yanti E-levy but the president Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and make a statement Ghana beyond aid. Now embedded in that statement is a clear manifestation there. Bosia year bo from independence up to date Yehu say intrinsically MYN into my end say o mine. And no government has been able to halt this in a way able to me afa yen shebre ewo yen sem near to me yepe. Indeed, President Mahama Mresokra there for some years IMF conditionalities and their conditions halted employment in the public sector. Nipe to me a school. Now for 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, now kwalati fia onye juma enye. That is the implication of say course say yen share yen yemu na yen develop your home so that will mobilize my revenue for our development. That is what is going to happen. It is Ghana beyond aid statement na yen president way back before say yen cry yet TBB say in a form no E-levy ban no me I applaud the government let me did the year pass had the papa minia na lawyer can be na me na kwa me so esi so na ehu hia into probability dero during NDC time no one more attempt say one more yebi at a cost of 1.2 million Ghana cedis
a $4.1 billion
Nana do Dankwa Akufo-Addo by less than 400
so 400 million dollars on $400 million from 1.2 billion dollars. And another government about 400 maybe. About saying $20 million. That's okay.
Right. Yeah. So look at the quantum. And me baby me to me send misika e de akoha. We used to be to me say that leverage MIN. Mama ye hu so say Sir, infrastructure now it allows us to do all these things, It's a huge investment. Sika komu yie pa. Esi to me maintain nani penya ahotoso. Se me send 100 ekoma me maame e okunkunra. Ni sabeka ni 100 cedis. Lawyer so obesa ne kakra ma doctor. Orien so obema kakra. Oma me kakra or so sure say kakra no obesa ni amame. Oma me 5,000 kra. 5,000 na be good me account mo. So the confidence that people have in the system and the maintenance of the infrastructure is key.
Why you express now?
Hey, what men can do, women can do better, lawyer. What men can do, women can do better.
Sir, what's here? Now we hear say Obama Obiska. Look at the inconvenience. Indeed, what the office. Now we hear Jumakra at the same time. No, be to me sending transacting business with it. Look at that. Into no what the tax now would here on the E-levy quantify that and quantify your time. I will be to office mu. I go to car. The traffic mu. Eddie Adiana call and son what they are. Quantify that. My main cancer mean show. April 28 one minubi or NDC. Kofi Michel. I say only the company into no about 7,000 or more musunuku yi. Now 7,000 no ku yi no. Within 3 days now they are 5,000. I was it if you overstand the kwakuku so.
Koyi ni sika omuba mo ni.
Ni sika nyina o de be kira mi oyi ni nyina.
No, o de be tu fi.
Na eda no ho na all cover. By 3 days na afina ka 5,000 or that. You go back or the be kwa to subi. Enti no ni am part of my trail no say na ye can say yes ye be go back to physical transaction. The risks involved alone you cannot quantify it too because to make it 1 million Ghana cedis within a twinkle of an eye you will lose everything. But this is the secured place. If you have this amount and even Wufun cry just giving your details and your pin, you can take your money back. Into the moment you say, and levy big can almost levy you. Nemum more to secure our funds to make our transaction quicker and more efficient. Anything as the way ever. Now at the end of the day, no, so na kwa mekano. Me de na kebe me de pa President Mahama de ne de ever so, but it's a useless, if you mind my way. It's I mean a useless recommendation, painfully that I heard from him.
Nyawa hino no. So betwem no.
Obetwem. And it's like me tie no na me hu the to be frank, me tie no na me hu the applause from the people no me yam sheni. Said the NDC is a clear disaster in our governance system now, led by President Mahama. They are clear disaster. They have, I mean, we have no hope.
I'm also more the burden, abinding the burden, to and so into your bar. The a party for the people. Scrappy the free na nipa ho atomo. Only more nyadwen.
It's forgive my word, but it's I mean,
and the Ahomedi and the home.
It's minia. At the papa. Now, daddy, then you know what? Yeah, can't to our dream. Say, what transact sika, you better, and it will be use fiscal money. Drain the security of your money. Say, Sabi, a conform to me afa. A conform to me in Fakra. War woman who pattern spending, and no crown no. At the end of the day, no. Sabita fracture. I'm on for paying for Hanomo to your crime. When you go there, you sometimes okay, you crabby. Now you're the way, but when you're G, I said, we I feel one said tax, net and namso. One more bet, see, at the end, I feel net amount to no transfer amount. Any idea is minimum crack can be trying me, baby. Taxes are amount for UK in other countries, no matter. And indeed, that is their system. And none of them they build the woman. And Ghana, we cannot continuously go say yeah, bobo say. Anything no, yeah, at the papa. Na ye bit me abemu ye pa. Mama yen say E-levy by say dedicated funds. A co-consolidated fund. GRA. But 3 months, 6 months reporting. You realize say, oh, this first 3 months yenya 1 Ghana cedis. So 1 Ghana cedis. The man Mr. Powameni and I the man Kwame the year added to a laptop back home. That is where we should channel our energies and our intellect too. Send me a bear. Woman mea oti baby. Now it is so phenomenal with the MPP. Say we create a universal development line for Ghanaians. Boba NDC say okay say one can say about 2024 there no bear unya ba kokranka. But you be to me about free SHS, health insurance, universal policies. Yeah, dear Magani, and none of you dream. Winter and Camille say energy, and you be trembling and won't mean trem. President Mahama is found of breaking promises. Now a year on okay, only the campaign during President Atamil's more time, the late President Atamil's, or say obey one-time premium. Kind of din. Or by no to me. Say promises President Mahama. Any uncle the other man, former governor from the
Dr.
NDC.
Dufour.
Dr. Dufour mo impo emra on the ticket of NDC, no member promises. It's worth considering when it comes from such people. But President Mahama, Obia Ebisani said, have you taken bribe before? And he get confused. As a human being or as a goat or what? You get confused by just a simple question. We cannot take him serious. Indeed, Oba owned me and I'm not or they can. So Ghanaians should consider this thing and look at the benefits that we stand to gain by paying this E-levy. Send me can me yapa. Say ye be bu en contract 3 months, 6 months. Now government, Miami government MPP cannot say you to me the 1 million akwa share palm oil development mu anything and ye XYZ. Ebe me ya.
All right.
But then if the accounting continues as we envisage, then we'll be going somewhere. I mean, lawyer can be say rate 1% is cool. It's
1.5.
Yes, it's cool because don't just even look at the percentage, but look at even the nominal amount that is being charged and compare it to your fuel that you will use to transact those businesses and the other related risks. Intimate my yebi, me said up, I do so, me said I as a made chebi. Na machine be asa also there for chama amenumu na womo no
obi sending me business
na near fan try
it's
1.5 year good man.
When you look at it and you compare it to the convenience that it brings on board, more importantly the objective of the levy say for development oriented and not a fire drink. Now we NPP we NDC near your interest will not be there living here saying now mum sikani ba the romo moye na yen so yen government mu na yen chire Ghana say sikani ba no ye dia ye A B up to Z na eno no what to so just 0.1% then I think you will be justified. All right. But then mum say sika no now still we are not able to show what we've done with it. And some of us will not be in the position to champion some of this.
All right. May I say, Ora Backman Ekufu, a member of the government communication team, Osaye, aspiring regional secretary for NPP, Eastern region. Atentebeng, Ena Utie, and pay on wontumi radio 95.9 and Movement TV, live on Facebook, Movement TV. Odwadrin Cheba, Ebekin Kadama. Look, meba na yahwe the economic implication of E-levy no but amini can call rap wa mani nchen na yehwe say ono so idea na because me say income fund there be abenya cost especially constituency elections say cost o ye income kwa there cost be true say say utimi eye bibia kama meaning so wa try ha na net say
actually yes media me ya dwuma nyina eno ana me dey Enra crime is semi close to 6,000 cedis. Yeah, Enra and the crime
and the hotel lawyer said
you know why?
That's right.
Me wo Accra, me office wo Accra. Me wo nkrofo mu distribute to palm oil. Ya pick oil ni free kedi. Onipa ni yeduma ho. How can that person hold cash? Who businessman no what's your security when someone is holding cash at Kedi and I say enye Kedi krumpo Kedi krebi I am sheshiankwa multimedia I prefer to keep my money on my phone making sure say we hear sika na transfer intime no enya de ha me because a mom is sort of comfort say me sika kra me and I can make payment every time I want to do it what you say intermediate me yededa na ma men kan kire o se daru enkrofo kasasa fa E-levy ho ba mu refi se E-levy na be boy nyina nya ho mfaso in terms of businesses aban bi o wiasin bi o de ka bia o man ne nkoso market aban bi o de ka bia are now running deficit budget or the borrowing na yaduma no man ne nkoso da Ghana ya yesa de bia yesika no yakobo besia na yedi akoye kwan every day every night every government oba besia no kobo de ye kwan besia no kobo de school every go yesika enso yen Now ni hardly ni say unya project be a friend GOG, that means government of Ghana financing. Na ama Ghana for contractors aye here for obi akoye adwuma 4 years in Trianica, obi adwuma 8 years in Trianica, because it's a GOG funding. GOG ne kire say taxes ne etete ne ye atua taxes no ye tua ye gigi adan ne ye de abaya katua ye fo nko agi almost about 30-35% of the tax akatua nko a ansa na interest e ba ko tua ewo saa besi a ye body aye roads ye body asi school dan no saa interest no nso take almost 35%. And the besi a your friends and taxes aye gigi no ye be wie no na tax no etua niema mienu pe enti wo be da aye kwan wo be da enti wo be to aso abobesi ana enti GOG financing project bi a wo Ghana ha bia no ye nya ne ye cause onipa no ko bobesi an wo bebia interested also pra even friends ADB commercial bank ye gini 28%. Or Ghana ni, remember Ghana ni and wakoje aban besia and wo ye the interest of 28% atoso. And so amemre fe opadwuma ye nti obeye ni white mi akoje loan kura akoye adwuma na wie no ni tua na edi ni 4 years obewie no na interest na nko na ni profit no na discount ko nti sa aban bi aba no ofo say ye pesi ye raise higher revenue ni edi share ye physical infrastructures ni aya aban no metimi ye prompt payment. That means me my contract na me say 6 months metuaka 6 months meden metuaka na mfa so bia beba wo me ne wo so as Ghanaians, and he says you tua contractor ka ade bia wo to bia obeto ade bia wo to aye wo a wo ton mo oba bituaka entuma oba bituaka bibia ni wa ye tua contractors wo ka wo kromu a wo say economy na start here den economy enti se ye wo ekwan bi so a ye betumi agigi sika na ye nim se Ghana GOG contractors ye de ka bia 20 billion ni yetimi raise sika na within 1 year ye to obi aka kire se economy no ebe den ebipija ebe ma ne ma akoso nye da bia na yesi trance na kwasi broni free ni krom e di sika be boy besia e use sika ni de ye aduma san di sika no go back. What country ni ye building da bia ye ko babesia your friends saying okay friends second touching if you baby na buy second touching if you baby na buy Brazil sika ye de buy wia na ye san tuakọ Ghana for na enye adwuma na enye profit no enka Ghana for nsem enti sa buy na ba no so the E-levy ebetimi raise close to abia even 7 billion Ghana cedis no obetimi dia share contracts wa mankrofo so omonya adwuma no ntua mka na obetua mka na wa wonso a wu ton duane wu ton bibi ye betimi ato na wonso wanya ho mfa so aton ne amanya usika e den ye kase E-levy nya menua media ya teme me ma ya ban adwuma ma je aban contract mienu miensa bi e ka ye de me 2 years 3 years ye ntua aden aban bia nu wo sika obeka se ni man fo ntra ho no momre a sika gu ode yeden enti se ombetimi agigi E-levy ni atimi atuatua nkrofo ka ama omo nso atimi di bi akoyi ye nnuma atretre nnuma mu afa nipa dwuma mu a what's wrong with it? E-levy now after all, how much are you paying? Sika na ya he ni enhwe mfaso a wo benya se wo ye store na me yetua me kan be ton ye ma metimi a ebia na meto ba ko metumi ato be 10 mfaso a benya na ebru E-levy sika na ya te wo no a day nti ya say no ye dwen ho hwe country bi say UK omtimi gigi revenue na ma ne broso no ye de bia be bo besia because e da ho enya hwe ni omo agigi o metas no de abebo man Ghana besia eno de wo akwaje esa kotua ho interest ama UK aban enti ye gigi ya de ne yetimi de aya we need to make sure say you appreciate it yeah aban ba o ye niam bia Ghana for adwen ma so one bolatas kakra si yetimi nya sika ebetimi di aboa bola no atu egu ana ebetimi amande di bola ye ti fin ye free am because na me ne communal labor na ye jai you nya bi ye fro bi so nko do don fitire kra of say we need to pay people to do it and ye pay people to do it no then you need to pay for it. And no dancer. And the free senior high school. Yeah, the annual budget funding. Ebia and Mufa Ngusi Kakakra. Master, we are spending close to how much? This year, I'm almost 2.8 billion. 2.8 billion. Akwala bi okɔ school bi a man aduane di free. Sɛ yɛntimi antuaka na akwala ne kɔ school na ne ho kyere na o ba bɛbɔ aban no so bɔ. Da bi ɛyɛ sika ne yɛde yɛ. Enti sɛ E-levy ne ba no mbetimi de aso mase a, that is where yehu ɔman sɛ yɛgro. Enti saa man a yɛte so a yɛkɔ a yɛfɛ no, ɔmtimi gigi sika tua ɔmo nka. Ɛna sika no so ɛba na wonya bi na menya bi a, ɛnya aban no ho na ɛwɔ. And I know any Ghanaian na yɛti E-levy sisi ano Ghana ni bia nso benya ho mfaso enye mfaso say ebia road ne keke ebia hospital ne keke even sika ebenya na me dia beto bibia wo nso ye betimi ato mo no mfaso a benya nska mfaso no ka ye 1 cedi a ebia na obenya 3 cedis emru E-levy ne yete no.
All right, Orapo Ameni home mesan aba ho biem. Orapo Ameni a member of the New Patriotic Party, or aspires to be a regional chairman for Eastern Region. Doc, Mesro Esamija lawyer coin. And Mesro Namin taking the bite kakrebi on say a Yaba Reporters Without Borders, Eddie Yaba, Esigana, Yatia so ranking Saba from 30 to 60, the West in 17 years. Former President Mahama so Akasa. Na minti lawyer kakra na fi metimi agya no kwan
minua sene o kan ye no I believe say ebia some me han many kan over 10 years ago or more and na ye wo 60 simu in terms of press freedom. Say press freedom index no and I'll come once yes. And since that time, no.
In fact, last time in year 60s, in year 60 2002, next year 67, and in year 66 2005.
Almost 20 years ago.
17.
And then we came into the 40s.
Sure.
In terms of press freedom. And last year, what number were we?
In fact, Nana Danko Akufo-Addo take over near year 26 in 2017, 23 in 2018. 27 in 2019 and 30 2020 30 2021 and then 60 2022.
Wow.
And
Osha jump near steep anameboa
Osha Africans, you say 2017 near second, 2018 near first, 2019 near third, 2020 near second, 2021 near third, and 2022 ya could do 10th.
Wow. Well, me believe you say a message to us. And no the way your security agencies handle journalists and our press for and our media for. Now mind you, on say your case media no only a fourth estate of the realm. Constitutionally, no, I say separation of powers for but they are still recognized as an integral part of our democracy. Enti me no me gidi se we no eye kokoko na ewiase afrana eboyen say hey Ghana hwe yie se ne e bia mo handle mo journalists any mo media for me no I can say you security agencies na obi beka say bedside manner or bedside manner now on say you see bedside manner as a local hospital na doctor ehwa sometimes doctor no send you ne su ne ban obeyi na di crampo no ebe ma ho ato asati ato ansa na wa ma eden edrompo enti me no from the little that I've been seeing no right it is the bedside manner of our security agencies in terms of how they have been handling pressmen and press people that has resulted in these statistics that we are seeing. And the sharp dip in terms of our position on the index, no, it is a wake-up call to us. Say, hey, so what I say, you cannot really say it is something that you will blame any one particular person or any one particular institution. But as a collective, no, and especially the security agencies, the police, the BNI, all those people. You know, actually be a Ghana no. Said yes, obi uniform. Near money the breaker create ne koni tree.
In fact, they also cited a legal issue.
What's it?
They cited a legal issue. They gave 5 reasons why they did. And one of the reasons was also a legal issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have not read that one. So
yeah. So what they said was they made reference to the right to information.
That has not been passed.
No,
it has been passed.
Yes,
yeah. But then what they were saying is a certain fee applies when you want to access information.
Okay. I think the one that has not been passed is the bill about women
affirmative action.
Affirmative action bill.
Yeah. But already you are enjoying that. So
my question was that say at what point any timi I can say me a journalist makwakoye adboni bi na yachimia yen obi shout say press freedom because ebi an inti achime no e different from me journalistic work and as bia say me a journalist kwana say me adwuma ma committee offense does it mean say me a journalist inti see a jam na me kwana
it doesn't mean that me believe you said about back to what I was trying to say. It is the manner in which we handle the journalists, and indeed and not just journalists no. So I just say Ghana ha ye chill na we differ. In fact, what's the more mobile power? Send ye benya film, send ye ben wow, send ye be ye no. Obe feel say on your Ghana ni. It's a fact. So I just say and again no the Mekaya no holds true. Say the bedside manner of the security agencies primarily that have occasioned this thing. The rights to information way now Phoebe Edasono is one of the issues. Yes, they are saying say it is wrong. The information should be free. If it's a right, then it should be free. It shouldn't be something that is subject to the payment of a fee. So that means that when to me a fee now, just information now we no unya. So yes, that's a legitimate thing. But primarily no, dear me who say the manhandling by security agencies no. That for me is something that is very, very distasteful. And that for me is something that a lot of journalists have complained about. And you hear them lamenting. Sebio, the fact say sebe journalists akot tia emra wo baby no and chese welusu ne fan hudie onye nipa. In bringing somebody to book, you must respect the person's humanity and their human rights. You understand? So you don't manhandle the person, you don't subject the person to behavior that is tantamount to torture. Anameboa?
Sure.
And me feel say and your ma wayne kitty bino. And you see it's been good. And also the killing of some journalists still are outstanding in the sense say yentumin chechre and crofona omwedisa ewuo no ne keka ho no. And your ma no bebre wo I think say you bet me a handle no better.
Okay.
Well,
right.
that is the reason why. And me feel say the dip no dear. First, no, not I said we were all right.
But we 100% too.
Saying
from 30 to 60.
Yes, it's 100%. And you see, and as well, no, so no. Also, recently, no, so many things have come to the fore that have not shown us in such a good light. One them yes, CCT, FM, 4B, the security services just. Barged into the place and it was all chaos and pandemonium and all kinds of things. Yes, you'll be a coach BNI picture BNS and all of it no here you to me so would use to me no in a very measured, in a very lawful manner and say overreach to me no simply because to me and
all right.
So as you say, So right. That is what I have to say about that one.
Lawyer, I'm say a better was and yatwaso. Nana say wa achiampon a private legal practitioner and anopay Martin and kind so kujumedi binti ye jan kwan na yatwaso movement in the morning na ye de akọ na fi ye chimi ahwe. I've called Dr. Frank Banoho. Now, you started with economic impact and I say effect of E-levy implementation. You say a be gubo juma. Sanete and I send this to your dog.
Let say before I make the repercussions, no, me say general, me say still, I me say OTT amount for no now, especially social media, say o can kind amount for. Me say still nipa bibrina enyantiasie at the crop potientia to say they na opinion ne kasa o make point be say am ya be do bibia ye wo sesia na me say eno ne ade me say media me can me say aban penny for hand communicators one day me say they should carry it home say a sensitization no a critical in this stage ayewo na me say baby na ye ka COVID-19 asem na ya beka Russia Ukraine war asem me say enipa bebre ne ntia say me say yehu ne say it's far away. And a Ghana so baby tin no nimienu no de kese obiri kan say there is no interdependence and I say enu kwan say ne ekoso baby no etumi nyansunsan so o Ghana for so ntia me say entiase no enye adwuma for say entiase na ye adwuma and can me say in the first place nka emeye why E-levy ke bi anka what to become ne say bia the rate of the levy ne bi anka ye nyina be debate nti measure say fi eye why the E-levy and why we are at the stage at ye jina sesiano. Na emi say one critical aspect emi say be ameka eye COVID-19 by especially between 2019 and 2020 and 2030 in particular our bibi memu ha Ghana ka ho governments nyina be brina more than 90% of governments implemented the obruni fan say lockdown enu ntino na edwadie ho nsem enkoso na dwade hu nsam nkoso yi no nso no ye nyina ye nim sese oba eye bibima mu ha beebi a yenye sika paafi eye de obroni be ka ne se eye tax revenue se ye gigi sika ewo etuo kwan so linti se edwade nkoso de na hwan na okoje ne tuo na wo de saa etuo sika no abebo oman no hu abena enti during this period na especially in 2020 no ne ekoba ne se do aban entumi nya sika dodo na emfiri etuo mu. But aban responsibility say one hour ya aban adwuma nurses, teachers, civil servants, ne projects contractors no penika so contractors ayamo adwuma say one no nyina no wo aketu asam ne de it was not suspended. And though there was not that massive economic activity, no, but still no responsibility of government. Say, wanna bear the burden of all these activities in the day. It was not put on hold. It was still running. And to me, I did bakwa. Mestre said, "You bet to me, I sensitization na amount for affairs here." And the Ekobai said there was a huge revenue shortfall because a Juma Nkoso, a beer monsoon yenimu say. Fango any gold timber cocoa and then Mr. Ghana buying so ecotona manamone na wonya sika from no on so e de be support e tax revenue generating na ye de Ghana ho bena yen na hu say because of a fall in demand intino because companies are ye koton sa adwadie ama wo mo no wo nyina atoto won apuru mu wonya adwuma enti wo de fango ba hwan na e beto agu ne na fidie mu ma fidie ma lock me shop. They said the every fan say what circle now shop COVID into yes Lord and our two na de safuagu butu na to them. Sana broni no so no to abrochire kwa the COVID ni ku on dodo into when na to one punu. In fact, logistically ship kra e best was sa fan go no ni koko ni oil de akono ni nyina akra enye adwuma. Until there was that logistical breakdown. Intino in terms of revenue generation both from your exports and internally through taxes no na emma Inti dia no sa abanye ye nyina so enim se bie mu no COVID so be create extra cost e was say abanye the friend say contact tracing. There were cases that government has to also facilitate multiple tests. People had to be employed. I know what say when you say dwumadie we nyina e was say aban no yes nurses, doctors, I was say aban etria wonka. In fact, there was a time I made in Ghana there. Now I was in another country. I was also in lockdown, but I was reading and following it. There was a time where some medical personnel and assistants were agitating, said they need to be paid motivation allowance to undertake some of these activities because a high risk job.
Your mom was saying 50% and I'm on 50%.
Yes, in terms of the one kasa was so far the making so. And when you know your idea, Edema a kakasi bedan baso. In fact, the okay a 2021 budget statement, I think 2022 budget statement, it tells you say the cost of COVID alone is was the equivalent of about 6.9% of of Ghana's GDP for that short period. And in terms of nominal value, no, sika kesiye pa na aban hweye. In fact, aside Sikana Aban Boka, which is almost about 20 billion Ghana cedis, and you might make it, government, ADCC, and no kind. In terms of revenue, and Kosanka Abanya, when Yanon Kwan equals almost 6.9% of GDP. And yes, Entina edi na ekoba na de ekoba na say broni be kan say ameye wo wiase nyina enya Ghana nkoa had to go by unconventional means kire say akwan a ye fa so edi nya sika ana revenue a ebi nsida, and the underlying word is unconventional. Enti say wo hwa improbably na ameka say ofa oman bi to say UK for implementing about 1.25% of NHS tax. I know they say a try year de ashe bibi say health insurance emukina eno kwampo keke. Other taxes omo introduce no enka ho. Say offer of mind to say Singapore introduce taxes na echo between 8 to 10%. And no say yes COVID car beda ho nti e was say the pro. Say offer the European Union and I say the Eurozone they introduce a carbon tax of about $800 billion. Carbon tax so waka tufu emusie one hour crane near free amaya they don't observe carbon rules and protocols no munyina no ye de tro tomo so amobetua na COVID car beda ho no ye de tuatua enti senya mekan no that unconventional means of generating revenue no na abeye de oburu kan say necessary devil. You cannot do without it because globally no COVID-19 alone are creating a burden and answer external burden of about $16.9 trillion. Globally, you find a country like Germany, and anka budget cap, and when they were CBS at 3 to 4%, that you find them being in the excess of about 12%. Recently, the United States of America, President Joe Biden, I introduced a new budget, or they call a house. Say, one was above $400,000 a year annually. No, I was so try especially for corporations. I will make it billions and millions of dollars. And to Brony Bekan say, there has been that unconventional ways of generating revenue. Into not Ghana aban so tenas no de odwene say e kwan be ne car market nyina no ye betumi afa so enye sika into the underlying way that maka say unconventional to say the IMF no World Bank ban no aman bia to say ne body eje tro efa kwan bi so e bin sida every say in fact after the period of the Great Depression happened in the 1920s late 1920s to 30s no e kwan ye fa je so to a e bin sida no emre we mu ene asa unity. Enti kwan ba kwa aban ede ne ban ne se ye nyina ete Ghana ye se ye bo besia dodo enti no besia ade a ewo se yetumi ete so enti se wo se onkoje besia de a onkoso mo besia ne meye ka enna enchirima ye nwo ho de a kwan be ne befa so atumi agigi sika emeye burden anas abatros emesense ye nyina yekom. Then we have to fall onto what? Internal revenue mobilization. Internal revenue mobilization is say ya fa nyansa kwan ne yajeje to Ghana aye betumi ede aboye ho bena na me more example be in 2020 Ghana could receive bonds in the international market that was the equivalent of about $1 billion. As at March, I think the last time I checked was March 20th or 25th, one of them. Now we were paying an interest, that mature in 2026. We are paying an interest of 14.7% on that €1 billion bond. What is the more or less than the projected revenue I see E-levy annually? Enti the anyansa abana na se ekwan abana fa ne say you bet me afa kwan bi so agigi sika internally within our borders. Na sa sika ne ebeje no ehumponko hia se ye besa ko tuansi hu de a na every ye burden ne de a ene e wo se sa kwan ne yetumi efa so. Enti eno ne ade e ma E-levy ebeye necessary. Say electronic transaction levy. Se ne be aban so betumi anya sika internally. Na yen kobo besia. It is a share recent statistical service data on the buy na. your debt to GDP ratio now can stand about 80 point something percent. All of a sudden, I drop about 70 something percent. Why? Because says you know more besia beam, and I won't more besia beam. So travel say interest and ka otosu trip because so besia na see one and a manner a wubebre one and a banner wubebre. In this yanka one and a banner woodrian and also so into a car a da was no a bathroom. Into and also me a dear bakwa I was say minuanum Ghana for Emma when you come. Now yamra E-levy na ankasa to send ya yakano. Now I did back when me say media me ankasa Sunday now I did a transaction on the Sunday. Monday I also
Sunday nation
and I did a transaction. Monday I also did a transaction into no and me say ya timi bi into me hu send yete. But send ye kanono any padodo na enye comfortable in terms of at the rate. In fact, initially say 1.75 and me say at about 1.5%. Into no ni padodo na
and I'm say telco so at your money
about 0.25 yeah percent. Yes, thank you. Into no though ni nyina ye but ade ba kwa emi say wo kan about repercussion na me ba so ne say wo hwe eye taxes there say eto you know obroni ebe kan say it is behavioral enipa bia no a opese obetua to. In fact, all over the world when government introduces any policy related to tax and quantity, people will react, and it is normal. In economics, you cannot do away without it. Sad day, you will always see it. But as to when people get used to it, you see, say there will be that kind of U-turn. It is expected. It will be kind of say if this dip is not expected, and I say it is true, and that is what economics will tell you because people will first react. Say any panel react in a way, not alternative be they will fall back to their old way of life. It's a normal. It is a repercussion for Canada. I mean, it's just like a business cycle. A reactionary. People will react to it. But I dear back me observation. I mean, when they say, Anka going forward, you know, a be as Anka. I buy able to me to one and as to me, I more or less like innovative about it. I setting up a threshold. Why am I saying this? Now they make can say say oh friend to say be empty money other networks now. Say oh transact business or so. There is a certain amount as a oh hate ya. You to make just a free a high quantity a flat rate. It be able to 10 Ghana cedis. Sa pepe na me expect say for a bank to be also be innovative, you know, and for the citizens of Ghana to embrace the E-levy, you know, a bank should also come up with something like that. Say, say obi transact an amount beyond ABR 10,000 Ghana cedis, for example. Is it possible to have a flat rate ABR? Any amount beyond 10,000 Ghana cedis ABR, the rate is 200 Ghana cedis. If it is so, dear, then obi or tia crying to make us so any major plane ticket to the Kumase. Not even withstanding the risk involved, because that 200 cedis cannot buy you a plane ticket from Accra to Kumasi. And that is one of the things I made to just say the government should start thinking about it. All then right. The last thing I want to talk about it. Let me say the revenue stream now. A critical part, especially for the credibility of this government, a transparency in the utilization of the revenue. Say, to say former president, because MPP are banned also, I would like to give an example in an MPP regime. Say, a former president for Abreswa. Now, or Ghana called join a hepic say, and Kesikan cause and Kaya, the Yediko Tria, name me, say, I emphasize can development. Say, a school down near name say, this is a benefit of hepic. Mr. Mesre Ghana by say, amount for be braid, the entire one case be a E-levy, maybe a yentria, we don't want we momos transaction represent and say, do na case, ye triato, though there is also question marks on ye triato because as far as the data is concerned, the tax to GDP ratio is just 13.5%.
The lowest.
The lowest, one of the lowest in Africa, sub-Saharan Africa. And also it's also debatable, but you always have to give people the benefit of the doubt because first you are also seeking political term, and that is also very, very significant and paramount. And a win-win situation, and for you to win the trust of the people, transparency is key. And to me, the Kabeya made they say, and you may to me school, you to me hospital, because from day one, let me say 2020 budget, you know, outline the uses of the e-levy. One of the critical aspects, employment generation. There is one part of it that it talks about the U-start. ASIC generating employment of about 1 million Ghanaians. When you Ghana ni obi CP Ghana ni biya ya Ghana ni biano, you have a right to access that fund. So when we are university especially, you come up with innovative ideas and buy and say obetumi ama sikapudio. Now I would start to be, and I think this is a very laudable policy. I was saying nani journalists especially. Mutumi mama ni kwa na mubohu deuru. Na sensitization so ye more na Ghana for where we are university or titi fear 1 year jumano. Who say E-levy ni cry ye triano. I buy in the long run the money is going to be reinvested into us. Me tria we tria ne yajeje aboa ne side says kana ma me se me mfanye adwuma na Ghana for take advantage of the U-start it way ade am me bra panyi Kofi Ofosu nka se me say last moba mesre ne say omuso bebo me hu so ye pa but mesre ne say one na pamfo ne adwuma for ebebo hu de ye especially on radio and TV. Okay, na BMC a transparency na maka no, there should be that transparent utilization. In fact, say if nothing at all, quarterly there should be that publication of revenues generated from e-levy. Thank you.
You move credit na e propose say yenya escrow account na nka sika no nyina nkogum na ye yia ye hu se na ede kwa koye ni consolidated ni mo da bia na yi no na kwa koye dem abusia akasema be se edu na no do abo movement TV ene wontumi radio 95.9 FM bidi edi kwaku dawurum ena nano pay medejumedi edeba enti former president ne statement ananu make here any press freedom kwame I feel hoy mra ho nti we be ne kakra na yetimi akwanka ehia bere modie enso ebere tian
I think sir, the statement from the former president as far as press freedom and other things are concerned, Nadia, well, no nation is in isolation as far as protecting the rights of citizens. You know, any idea say kakra emem. You have instances abia nipa bi fa hodie enkofo ebe try so mo ebe tieti asoni ade, but indeed it is the duty of desired agencies to ensure say amount for all the necessary atmosphere, the serene environment omo edibe performing omo duties. I think people should appreciate the professionalism in whatever they do. We are journalists. In the first place, why don't we advocate, say, like chartered accountants, for instance? So we are journalists every year in and out. In Ghana, for instance, we are unable to even identify those who are professionally identified, say, in Nipa way or a journalist, so that we follow them by their professionalism or mode but obi a sorry or friend or journalist no do obi atem no can and some no tarnish nkofo image, and you expect say yenja wo emo monko emra no se na wosusu se emra no e protect wo no sanso na obi so ono so fi se be ugu na nimu ase ewo baabi no ono so emra no so bon ho ban na of late now I've seen say people are taking on people for unnecessarily tarnishing their images and so on. And this agobasa now a journalist now akokika wonsam no be a feely scandalized that now or take you on was say there be or metieti a journalist for far so I think say yes sir and I was here no bibi a opesa odi tudwa you do your proper checks balances ensure sir someone odi to way don't be the first to break a news uninyina so. I think it has been the order of the day in this country now. Our journalists want to be the first to tell of a story. Now obi reputation built over the years and now odi echo into the mud. Inti yenyina no yanye yejuma professionally. And I me read certain comments and there people ascribing, telling the differences between President Rawlings, President Kufuor, ABC, President Mills, the late President Mills, BBC. John Mahama so eba na Nekufuado so ni ade. Yes, we are Ghanaians. We are trying to express how enipa bi handle some of these situations, but in all no security agencies no ye besre say wo mo ma o madwuma no emu na ho honte obi a journalist na se bio ebia we so waba be di ebia police for ensemo we don't maltreat such a person. The law must take its course, do due process, due diligence. Be here say was here yenye. One mo so a enam kwan bi so o ma hwe wo mo kwa na Ghana for enya perception. Say sa kwan yi de o mo susu say nipa bonfo bi na aye no. Of course, we plead with the security agencies to ensure say Sankofoni nyina no they are brought to book and na ohwe investment His Excellency the President aye into your security infrastructure. Ohwe cameras are all over the place and na BBC pe now attention back home pe the police are able to identify, go after people who are creating all the nuisance and so on. Now say mo ho ohwe abrante bi odi Benz bi twa UBC bi wo honomo quickly it came out and we want to applaud one more a year in charge of these security setups, especially the cameras. No say yemma sa pepe your way and kosona Ghana for ntiase say o man na ye woman it is say baby foforo say be ko kro be so na ko di boni na quickly you round it up a hase so ye no say bi na pepe yo me say yakos say ya Ghana for betiase say it's not about say who tietia obi fa ahodie so anase wo yewe but obi adwemu da ho say ekwan a wo fa so a wo di udwuma no say emu da ho pepepe dia then you shouldn't have a cause to blame anybody say bia emrano has cut up with you.
All right, Kwame me da say nti Kwame ba na yete ne kan Kwame ba a member of the communication team,
have original chairman who is also seeking to retain chairman Kwabno Suseche. I think have for elections in Akwaswama has been very successful, and we are hoping that all other competent chairmen, they say chairman wontumi, for instance, Odina or that, I don't know.
Yeah,
we wish them all the best.
May I say, you're back, my kufu, but your mammy tiri.
May I say, Mr. Nibri na Kwame Aboso na me fa ba ko na BNB. Me na the ade ebe you know. Onipa medwen ne ho first pa the president Nana Adodankwa Akufo-Addo. Following the political initiatives, I think the least that person will expect, say, I can attend now. Our report see a Damien one ever because he has been a freedom fighter and a very good one at that. Me did the year pass. Index here ebe. But then we cannot pinpoint one individual or a group of people saying it's a government and from Subi anything yet me and Depisa. What cost security services in Numa? Where the American name is Hope Kophobia or Tianimo and a maybe attitude Nadia is not supposed to park there now. Who security person? I mean, watching. What's the someone I must have 4 more? But 4 more news also.
San okay.
San, Debro Masumo, when you say Obina on narrating to me, may 4 more months. And I say, Massa, we call report to my MC. Now, maybe you would. I feel, who are you? Who are you? Let me say, you be now. Someone what come on? Maybe you would. Oh, and I'm a patch of the agroding. But then you are grown woody or can any presso. Me can I say security agencies na ye can say one more year near many idea me did pa na sadie we wo kan obeta sibo ha what enti na work asa enipa bi wo ma it looks as if their conduct shaping in a way no to tarnish the image of the government, which is wrong. But what me ya hwe anything no moma ye hu ne sa Minia one index in so me did this as ankron for a woman in your hokrano a year the closure of some of the railway stations. Because any more there. But fancy you are a radio station. We have rules and regulations. I say to me you say more license you are trouble later. 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Even Kurano we could quote 5 years, 7 years. Reply keke kra or reply say XYZ near the go akwemokrano, he would disregard it. Now, and government it take initiatives say XYZ you're close, say hey you're close, you shut down a radio station, and it's It's part affecting our day in this light. Intino, ebasa, wa we the owner of the station, and now we player, na SSA and ka we BB, na sa closer no ama why no. You have also contributed to Ghana's dip now. And it won't me and nano who and found sa entene abino some kwanse abino na woman BB because me pass there are gurus on the other side of government. And Kawumbo to me, near me be as a closure of radio stations be brave and Kemba. And so no, I don't know whether it go be near the Omatanasia, Masadia by Ghana, yet to me, Aqua could be a yet be a yin I am penny. It cuts both sides. Indeed, dear, well, Nippon so even in government crowns one almost close their eyes into that. The last one, Minia, and the can or Yelmo, Nipa we. During the election, no, we least expected this. Okay, then they na yaw, and it's like a now, no. Now we've come out, and then we see one of their family members, and they said even compensation, and yeah, me promises be a government can say ever kono, one more share in my emma. And the area, into no make sure says security agencies, no, and I near so one more money, we will really bring them to book and make sure their respective compensation.
Mr. Backman Ekufu Medawa say Menko Rapo Ameni Home we are namene Dr. Ewie na ye monitofa. Yapo.
Let me say press freedom indexes now Oshimu pa if you look kind of political yikakra. In 2014 it was negative. 2015 it was negative. In 2013 57% increase. Over 2020 it was 6.97. 2021 has been dropping. So what it means is that you impress nene political line. Let me say there's something you kakra because during 2020 election, Ubia cool to talk whatever you want to talk about. And 2021, for instance, yen said that yen borderlines na hit war. Burkina, all the French speaking countries are the north.
But the issue they say, and na ayeka even Burkina Faso and soldier nini di omayano sokra try and
the data was before. It was collected before.
Okay. But well and ubet me akanesa.
Yeah.
But you say government suppress dissenting views as a ubini abanya adriana and all that.
I don't think so. The Americans, I don't think so. A few areas. Say, country bimuna country no the border countries no issues war. Then you need to know say country now also put securities heavy security in place. Titru when someone nipa beka ebakofa oye na aba no as order now to make sure say sa niema no eso bet kakra. Eti BBC na ye bia these indexes na mostly I have foreign NGOs be na ye near there. They pick normally and some cost radio so ana ya chiwe ya ewe but they on dey o ma ya chi o mo Ghana ha bibia no emra na chi o mo emra ni obi ye ya nye enti na police ni efre no so ko police won so na BBC a e bia me minim say as today say ya chi obi ko police station na yes ye de ne court ye de ne ko so all the processes are a woman a ese nipa no e fa mu de e ya de a nipa ni fam but so far as ya chi no now by public year will be a can assembly definitely about affected the index but as of today all my chichi omuna no wo hwe nchichie nu ana say year then the man Ghana as o mine there's peace in Ghana here today and some big and any partners drink drink kwa obefa so obedidi kwa obefa so obetimi anya sika ere atu ni bottom we want to talk about the development of this country. So radio stations ne social media for say bibi wo ho na ya ban na dia ban na yes fan bibi nko ya omonka ho asem these are the areas I see it me making sure say press freedom to me adwuma and just press freedom to no be a journalist no sorry I know akofo bi abetra and not pen no young kwan na oh young me on your sorry to tell you oni abusuan anani o tarnishing image na obe media obe google ni din no na ensem fun kwa na fa no me wa the good side ebe mo man na nyin se be ma duane akonipa efie amo wadidi no and obi anka ho ase education koso nyema koso TVET ene ko TVET ko he like institution yetimi dia si wo say ye ba be ye nyuma enti ase yetimi make sure say if I go through training then na mo ye enso busa ho say media anka ho ase mana
Jema medase. Orapo ameni ena yate nenkan finally metie Dr. Bano on this issue nefi EDSC. Doc.
Mr. Time nature. In this I will just go through the 5 key indicators from the buy and just a glance of it. Into which the first thing they talked about this ranking this time around a media landscape. But a one so what kind explanation of the man Americans there's a little bit of ambiguity there. Because what they are saying then is quite debatable. For example, almost say the most popular as media platform organ hire the state-owned Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. I think this is quite debatable. If they are talking about in terms of ABR coverage there, yeah. But in terms of popularity there, it's also a different thing. Coverage is different, popularity is different. And I think in terms of popularity, let me say, currently the private-owned media houses were more popular than even the state-owned. That's what I'm saying. Let me say there's an ambiguity there, but all the same, the mechanics say it's a clear indicator, especially in moving forward. Say your best media landscape here. Then the next one was political context. Let me say, you read something briefly. So just to quote what they said. They said to protect their jobs and security, they increasingly resort to censorship as the government shows itself intolerant of criticism. And to say one of the in terms of political context, and you see one of the things that Ghana drop it. And I think this is also an eye opener. Though, like I said, these are issues that if you want to delve deeper, there is also the other side of it, but all the same, we need to also learn lessons from this and move forward. Then they came to the legal framework and I mean doc about right information. And then some scientists said, though journalists have the right to access information, however, journalists have to pay for a little fee to access this information. And they see it's more or less, and we are a hindrance to journalistic work in Ghana, and for that matter, and also affected Ghana's ranking in 2020. Then they came to the economic context. Let me say, a lot of people are not talking about it, and I'm amazed. Now, and I want to read, with your permission, everything that is in the economic context, because it's very critical. Also, in Ghana, most media outlets face financial problems, reflected in low salaries and poor working conditions of journalists. Frequently, newspapers are launched only to fold in a few months due to inability to meet production costs. State-owned media, for their part, benefit from government advertising contracts and payment for publishing news items. Government advertising is awarded through a non-transparent and inequitable process. And to say, share the whole indices are ranking this time now. To say near Obroni Beka say, share indicators and critically now explanations on provided now. And yeah, one-sided issue. And me say share the economic context now, it tends to also blame the media houses themselves. Because I didn't know him say you don't have the capacity to sustain a media house, but yet you go and set it up. And you see, one of the critical aspects that we also need to talk about it, where it's not in the hands of government. This is purely a private matter. And that is something that I think I will urge all media houses to also reconsider.
It shouldn't just be about the license.
Yes, acquisition.
Your ability to
maintain the license, because you need to pay for the renewal. And you won't even say, me, set it up. But if it expires within the next 3 years, won't we renew? Won't say, fast staff. The staff need to be sustained. Their income stream need to be assured. Who is sure of your source of income? to pay these staff or to keep them, but yet you go ahead and get a place and set up a media station. And you see, one of the issues are they use to downgrade Ghana in terms of the rating. Where are they? Because an independent decision. Say me say me be a radio station now. I don't need to seek the permission of government. So now we will seek enough. It's not like setting up a bank. So sure. I also think that in terms of the regulation, looking at this context, the National Media Commission and other affiliates should also come up with new rules and policies and then making sure some of these issues are highlighted or reported can be mitigated. Then the last thing is safety. Almost said journalist safety has deteriorated sharply in recent years. In 2020, reporters covering the effectiveness of anti-COVID-19 measures were attacked by security forces. Into enoba the opinion asma or kanye about the posturing, the attitude of some unprofessional, excuse me for that word, attitude of some security personnel. Because the thing is that most of these security personnel's decisions are taken on the field, more or less like an impulse decision. It's not something we got so they are doing it on orders from above, but in most cases it's not. But no correct. On one kasa ne free say Mr. Police atade, and now say Mr. Soldier atade intino. Make me apusu me ho na menhurehura nipa, especially when you go to the village level near adena. That kind of nyoman ekosopa enye aban bi anase enye politician bi ene eche ne so onyes ono ankasa ne tumi so ene ode yes ade no enti we nyina ye no ma meka ne say at the end of the day no okay eye individuals or more mind mu there they don't necessarily care so we obi indiscretion enti ene ade we buy on the onima ne say aban ne di Ghana so enti ade bia whether it is private owned or state owned or fan say aban. In terms of regulation, any control of security services, any best say one in penny for you almost no, whether private organizations or bodies, ebe making sure say from henceforth, you be institute policies and rules are ebe to me atesa and you may emise or they atude so.
All right, Doctor, may I say, enti Dr. Frank Bano, economist, and a moti nikano, nana se wa achiampon, lawyer, private legal practitioner, Martin Nka, Mati Minua, Kwame Ban Enka, Kwame Ban or National Sports Authority. Ora, Paul Ameni, Eastern Regional Chairman Hofo. You see, at the constituency elections, no, every week. Na ekwematre na Ira Backman ekufu enso Eastern Regional Secretary Hofo ti ono so ekwemu atre anesa empanifo yi na anopei eni omo edigwa movement in the morning at Tintiben ewo wontumi radio 95.9 FM eni movement TV eso Oheneba Kingsley anopei ojinahana Oheneba Kwabena Esiedu ena chese oye ni nyina ena Peter ene Kwame Dinkra Junior ena fi technical team ni nyina so etechire midi ede kwaku dawuru mena anopei metina akonwamu a mede dwumadi ebrewo yedemu esi ha sei na dwumadi ahodo a aka na to aso nyankopon ama ochina yebesan ne wahia no nso anopa na yato a dwumadi no eso yedamu nyina ase.
Wontumi Radio 95.9 Nyamisa Wom. Wontumi